The Evansville Otters looking to complete their comeback streak. They've won 4 in a row at home, and their last 3 all in comeback style. The Otters today play Game 2 against the Lake Erie Crushers from Evansville. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the River City. I'm Griffin Epstein alongside Lucas Daunhauer and our director, John Smith. This evening, Lucas, the Otters again do it at Bosse Field, come from behind, and yesterday was the first time all season coming from behind to win in the 8th inning or later, a 3-run 8th to get their first win over the Crushers this season.
That's right, another obstacle surpassed by the Otters team, and they're hoping that that can become a trend, and the trend of not only being able to come from behind in games, but having to come from behind in games is going to be something they don't have to deal with anymore. Going to look to jump out and start their offense a little bit earlier tonight. But, yeah, it was a great win and looking to continue the winning streak here at home.
Otters coming from behind to win 6-4 yesterday as they try to get some revenge on the Crushers. Lake Erie swept the first series between these two back in Ohio a couple weeks ago. Lake Erie starters this evening, they're 23 and 32. Jared Watkins, the all-star shortstop, leads off for Lake Erie. Jack Harris, right fielder, bats second. Todd Isaacs Jr. bats third and plays left field. Keenan Irizarry, the second baseman, in the cleanup spot. Zachary Houston bats fifth and plays third base. Jackson Pritchard bats fifth and catches. Drew Galassi bats seventh and plays center field. Kemuel Thomas Rivera batting eighth and DHing, and Josh Rego rounds out the lineup playing first base. Starting pitcher tonight for the Crushers will be a lefty, Yoniker Villalobos, the lefty in his third start of the season for Lake Erie. On the other side for the Otters, 31 and 23, Kona Quiggle, the center fielder, leads off today against a lefty starter. Ethan Skinder bats second and plays second base. Jeffrey Baez bats third and plays right field. Yomar Reyes in the cleanup spot playing third base. Dakota Phillips bats fifth and plays first base. John Dyer bats sixth and DHs. Bottom three in the lineup: Jake Green, the catcher, George Khalil, the shortstop, and Noah Myers, the left fielder, rounding out the lineup. Austin Gossman, the righty, will get the start for the Otters. He's 4-2 with a 4.59 ERA this season. Those are your starting lineups. National anthem coming up. We'll be back on the other side with the Otters and Crushers. You're listening to Evansville Otters Baseball on the Otters Digital Network and watching on Flow Sports.
Those are now protected and pay tribute to those who made the ultimate sacrifice with the scene of our national anthem this evening, performed by Ashley Sanders. Ladies and gentlemen, Ashley Sanders with our national anthem.
Almost ready for baseball from Bosse Field. Game number 2 between Lake Erie and Evansville. And the only series here in the River City between these two Frontier League West foes. Austin Gossman getting the start this evening for the Otters. Gossman making his 10th start of the season for Evansville. 4-2 with a 4.59 ERA. 3 of his 4 wins this season coming at home. Gossman spent a couple weeks on the IL, had a really good start coming off the IL at Joliet, went 7 innings and earned a victory over the Slammers. Just never really got into a rhythm, though, in his last start against Windy City right before the All-Star break. 4 1/3, ended up getting handed the no decision. Walked 3 batters, he hit 2 batters, had 8 hits, overall 5 runs, 3 earned allowed in that last start. So looking for a little bit more consistency from Gossman. He's a guy that we know will 5-pitch mix. He can go long. He's not going to have the most electric stuff in the world, but a really tactical, analytical guy that at times, both this year and especially last year, has been one of the Otters' best pitchers.
Yeah, got some good run support in that game. Only went 4 1/3, but it's been 11 days since his last start, so I'm sure he's been itching to go, and he's back here in game 2 of a series that the Otters would love to win against Lake Erie.
So Gossman getting his final warm-ups in on the mound. Around him on the diamond today, Jake Green, the catcher, Omar Reyes at third, George Khalil at short, Ethan Skinder at second base, and Dakota Phillips at first base after catching yesterday. Nothing unusual in the outfield for the Otters. Noah Myers in left, Kona Quiggle in center, and Jeffrey Baez in right field. Jake Green is catching Gossman for the 6th consecutive start. They are the pitcher-catcher battery today for the Otters. Brought to you by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located 2319 North Green River Road, or call at 812-475-9000. Evansville 31-23. A win today puts them 9 games over 500, would be tied for their highest of the season. Lake Erie a half game back of dead last in the Frontier League West, entering today 12.5 games back at 23-32. We'll try to even up this series at a game apiece. Jared Watkins ready in the left-handed batter's box. Gossman takes a big deep breath on the mound, fires home. We're underway and a first pitch strike to Watkins. Lefty Watkins and this Crushers lineup was quiet yesterday. The 0-1 chopped right side and foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lake Erie did take the lead yesterday. They used a 3-run 6th inning, but the Otters answered with 3 in the 8th as the pitch misses low to Watkins. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Crushers had 8 hits, but just 1 extra base hit. And the Otters walked only 1 batter yesterday. 1-2. Breaking ball just inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 5-pitch mix from Gossman. Fastball, sinker, cutter, slider, changeup. Two and two. Swing and a miss. Changeup on the outside corner to get Watkins to strike at. That felt like the ultimate Austin Gossman at bat there on the very first batter he faces.
Yeah, worked both sides of the plate really well. We saw a few different pitches there. Great start, though, after, like I said, 11 days since his last start, Austin Gossman.
Jack Harris, the righty batter, takes a first pitch at the knees for a strike. Gossman comes home. Chopped left side. Few steps in. Khalil to glove it. Throw across the body in time to catch Harris by his stride. 2 away in the top of the first. 2 quick outs for Gossman, which is good news. It just couldn't get into a rhythm against Windy City a week and a half ago in his last start here at Bosse Field. Every inning dealt with a bunch of runners on. Struggled with his command. Did have 7 strikeouts, which tied a season high. Looking for a better rhythm today against the worst scoring offense in the Frontier League. 2 outs, nobody on for Todd Isaacs Jr. First pitch on the inside corner for a strike, 0-1.
Gossman looks like he has a lot more confidence in his stuff. He's established all 5 of his pitches here in the first inning. He's going right at these Lake Erie hitters.
A 1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Overcast skies today. We had heavy rain overnight, but no rain during the day. Dan the man, the great groundskeeper for the Otters, done a great job getting the field ready all day. 1-1. Is a line drive right to the glove of the shortstop, Khalil. Great catch by Khalil, a hot shot by Isaacs Jr., but right to the shortstop, and it's an easy 1-2-3 inning for Gossman. We go to the bottom of the first. No score on the Otters Digital Network.
Pitcher-catcher battery for Lake Erie.
Back at Bosse Field, bottom of the first inning. Otters getting set to bat against the lefty, the Venezuelan Yoniker Villalobos, in his 3rd season in the Frontier League and 1st year with the Crushers. Has only made 2 starts this year, both in July, and has struggled through his first 2 starts. Allowed 10 hits, 10 runs, and 8 walks over 7 2/3 innings pitched. But Villalobos is a guy who's had plenty of success in the Frontier League. Played the last 2 years with Florence. Made 38 starts, a 4.34 ERA, and a former farmhand in the Miami Marlins organization. Guy that struggled so far this year, Lucas, but we know how much the Otters have struggled against lefties, and Villalobos is a talented pitcher just waiting for that first strong start of the season.
Yeah, a guy who comes from a high-pace baseball pedigree, Griffin, and if he has a chance to establish his stuff in the Frontier League, it's a good opportunity for him. Like you said, scouting reports good. The Otters have struggled against left-handed pitching, especially as of late, so I'm sure he's going to be looking to establish his pitches early and get ahead of hitters based on how his last 2 starts have gone.
Kona Quiggle leads off the bottom of the first inning for the Otters. Lefty fires home. Quiggle pops the first pitch up into shallow left field. Long run in for Isaacs Jr. under the baseball, a few steps from the line. Makes the catch, 1 away. It was quite an adventure yesterday for Isaacs Jr. in left field. Had 2 of the biggest plays of the game, almost right to his mitt. Couldn't make the catch on either of them, including the 2 RBI go-ahead triple for Rosario in the 8th inning. That was the go-ahead runs for Evansville.
That's right. He got turned both directions a few different times on both of those plays. Just finding out it's tough to read balls in the outfield here at Bosse Field.
1 out, nobody on for Ethan Skinder, who takes the first pitch high and away. Facing a lefty, the Otters changing up their lineup, putting Quiggle back in the leadoff spot. 1-0. Chopped softly left side. Charging in is the shortstop, Watkins. To glove it, throw to first in time to beat Skinder by a foot. 2 quickly down for Villalobos in the bottom of the first. No score. Just 2 lefties in the lineup today. And Myers moved all the way down to the 9th spot, and Phillips moved to the 5 spot. Well, Quiggle leading off, but he's hit well against lefties this season. Very different lineup than the Otters often against righty pitchers, starting as many as 5 lefties in the lineup and often stacking them at the top of the order. 2 outs, nobody on for the righty Jeffrey Baez, who takes the first pitch outside from Villalobos. Jackson Pritchard catching today with Tuchillo on the bench for Lake Erie. Pitch home, a strike on the inside corner, 1-1. Josh Rego at first, Kieran Iazari at second, Jared Watkins at short, Zach Racusin at third base, Todd Isaacs Jr. in left, Drew Galassi in center, Jack Harris at right. 1-1. Inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. So mentioning heavy overcast skies today, another humid day, 82 degrees, but humidity making it feel like it's 89 out. Not expecting any sun. 2-1, broken bat flare into right field. This ball will fall for a hit. The head of the bat landing in front of the third baseman, Racusin, but Baez has a bloop base hit.
And his base hit in the first inning yesterday was just a infield grounder that he legged out. So a couple days in a row where he's established himself at the plate with some fortunate pieces of hitting, but we saw yesterday he followed it up with a home run later in the game.
That was the exact same thing yesterday. The blue base hit early and then the home run in the third. He's aboard at first with 2 outs. Yomar Reyes takes a first pitch low from Villalobos. Otters in their home blues with Otters written in white across the chest. White numerals, white pants. Lake Erie, same uniforms as yesterday. Purple tops with Lake Erie written in white across the chest. Gray pants, purple socks. Reyes fouls one off the top of his foot. 1-1. Limping a little bit on his left foot. Found it right off the top. Similar to yesterday, more mellow crowd on this Wednesday evening. Expecting a big crowd tomorrow night for the series finale. Not been the best weather the last few days here in the River City. Muggy, overcast, and rainy. 1-1. Strike right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mike Weinstein behind home plate today. Ty Unthank at third. Craig Sparks at first. 2 new umpires into the series. Weinstein and Sparks were supposed to be here yesterday, but ran into some travel issues. Here comes the 1-2. Low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brad Wilson is okay. The confirmation got hit in the hand yesterday. It was a little bit of a scary sight. Was actually just in to fill in for Weinstein and Sparks. Brad Wilson alongside Martin Tim filling in yesterday. Back to the regularly scheduled Frontier League umpiring crew. 2-2 is fouled hard right side out of play.
That overhead foul ball brought to you by Heads Construction. Choose the best. Never regret it.
Two. Popped up and out of play again right side by Reyes.
Really good at bat from Reyes here, though. If you're the Otters, you had a quick 3-pitch first 2 outs thrown by Villalobos, and guy who's struggled to go deep into games. You want to make him throw a lot of pitches early, and after that flare base hit by Jeffrey Baez, Reyes is doing just that.
Another fire home. Chopped off the end of the bat check swing and rolling foul. What do you see from Villalobos? First time the Otters is seeing him this season.
He's throwing a lot of strikes early on. A guy who had 8 walks in his first 2 starts in just 7 2/3 innings of work. So definitely he's looking to establish all those pitches in the zone, but Reyes doing a good job of running that count up.
Delivers. Reyes hacks out at left side. Gloved by the third baseman. Mercuson throws to second in time for the force out to beat Baez. Blue base hit for Baez. Otters strand 1. No runs in the bottom of the first. 1 inning complete. No score. Full of sports in the Otters Digital Network.
for the Lake Erie Crushers, batting fourth at second base, 22, Keenan Irizarry.
No score through one in the second game between the Otters and the Crushers. Griffin Epstein alongside Lucas Daunhauer on a Tuesday night here from Bosse Field. Austin Gossman worked a 1-2-3 top of the first inning. He'll face Keenan Irizarry, the second baseman, to lead off the top of the second. Lefty batter, first pitch home, a strike at the knees. Well, it was called a ball. I thought it was a strike. 1-0. Gossman delivers. It's lined right to Ethan Skinner, the second baseman. Took one step to his right, reached up the glove, and the ball softly found him, one away.
Batting fifth at third base, Zach Recusson.
Brings up Zach Recusson with one out and nobody on in the top of the second. No score between Evansville and Lake Erie. Otters completing their third in a row come from behind victory yesterday at home. First pitch to Recusson, strike on the outside corner. Otters have now won 4 in a row at home, sweeping Windy City before the All-Star break and winning the opener here against the Crushers. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
That's right. We've talked about the offensive struggles at times from the Otters, but the bats have shown up at home. In the last series between these teams at Lake Erie, the Crushers limited the Otters to just 6 runs. Well, Otters matched that count last night in the 6-4 win.
It was a woeful week for the Otters in Avon a couple of weeks ago. Certainly their worst offensive series the whole year. 1-1. Chop softly up the middle. Khalil plays it off the side of the grass. Glove to first in time. Recusson retired. 2 away. Hey, Evansville Otter fans, 2023 brings new opportunities to catch all the latest Frontier League action. Be sure and check out the Frontier League and your Evansville Otters on Flow Sports, the official streaming partner of the Frontier League. Never miss a game and follow along all the way to the championship. Just visit EvansvilleOtters.com for links to watch and subscribe today for all Frontier League and Flow Sports content. Jackson Pritchard, righty catcher, takes a first pitch outside for a ball. Oh, and 1 from Gossman. Inside, check swing. Pritchard held up 1-1. Now, the recipe for the Otters, if you're looking at how many runs do they need to score to win this year, there's a pretty clear demarcation. 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. When the Otters, pitching-wise, allow 4 runs or less, they're 26-4, including last night. And when they allow 5 runs or more, they're 3-19. 1-2, swing and a miss. Pritchard strikes out. Gossman has retired the first 6 batters. Go to the bottom of the second. No score on the Evansville Otters digital network.
It's time to see who gets the upgrade to the Ashley Furniture Home Store. Best seats in the house. Our lucky winner will get to spend the rest of the game with the best seats in the house. So I say congratulations to Jill Jankowski. Jill Jankowski, the winner of the Ashley Furniture Home Store Best Seats in the House. Jill Jankowski. Make your way down to the best seats and enjoy the view for the rest of the game with your feet kicked up. And the best seats in the house also means that you have the best view of the Heritage Video Board and Honor Vision. Follow along with all of our video board action here this evening, and be sure to visit Heritage for all of your banking needs.
No score between Evansville and Lake Erie as we move to the bottom of the second inning here from Bosse Field. Dakota Phillips leads off against Yonaker Villalobos, the lefty for the Crushers, making his third start of the season. Struggled his first two outings, looking for a good third start of the year and his return to action. First year with Lake Erie, third in the Frontier League. First pitch to Phillips, a breaking ball at the knees for a strike. The Crushers' offense has not done much all season. They're in a stretch of 7 games in a row, not scoring more than 4 runs. Phillips takes high 1-1, so they're going to need a good pitching performance if they want to win. Villalobos kicks and delivers. High, 2 balls and 1 strike. Otters have struggled, too, against lefty pitchers this year. It's certainly been well chronicled on these broadcasts. 7-10 this year against lefties, 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2. But when you take out that 2 of those wins were against Kenny Matthews of Windy City, who is kind of a pitcher in his own category, considering he doesn't throw over 80 miles per hour, and 1 win in a bullpen day for Joliet. It's a little worse. The 2-2 fouled off the inside of the bat. Furthermore, 5 of the 6 times the Otters have been shut out this season, it was against a lefty starter. Villalobos throws. Phillips lines one down the left field line. Fair ball, no. Just bouncing foul to the left of the foul line.
A ball that ran in on the hands of Phillips. He put a good swing on it. Looked like he was going to almost certainly get extra bases, but just a lot of tail on that ball. Carried it foul.
Phillips wiping the sweat off his brow and taking off the helmet on this hot and humid day here in Evansville. Slow walk back to the left-handed batter's box. Villalobos home. Popped up again by Phillips down the left field line. Isaacs Jr. looking up, and it's bouncing to the left and off the wall. Foul. Phillips just missing one, a couple feet to the left of the foul pole. And another back-to-back. Phillips has a smile now. Long walk to get back to the batter's box. Calls time, wipes off the brow, puts back on the helmet. Resets the batting gloves. Takes a big, deep breath. The fourth-year Otter certainly well used to the humidity here in Evansville of late July into August. 2-2. Outside corner, strike 3 called. Phillips goes down looking, 1 away in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, tough call there if you're Phillips, especially you consider all the running he had to do after those 2 balls that were narrowly foul. But Villalobos really pounding the strike zone early. We said that has to be his strategy today, and he's executing it well.
Brings up John Dyer, the DH. 1 out, nobody on. Dyer takes the first pitch inside for a ball. Dyer pinch hit yesterday for Aaron Beck, went 0 for 2. Just his 10th game of the season, 1-0. Breaking ball outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Dyer hitting .250 on the year with 8 hits. Has 3 doubles. Signed fresh out of college after a 5-year career at Tennessee Tech. 2-0 in the dirt, 3 balls and no strikes. Dyer from Mount Juliet, Tennessee, outside of Nashville. And playing for the Golden Eagles in Cookeville, Tennessee. 3-0 home. Outside for ball 4. Villalobos, a 4-pitch walk to Dyer. It's been a problem early this season for the lefty. The Otters have 1 on with 1 out. Walk brought to you by the Deerhead Sidewalk Cafe and Bar. Brings up Jake Green with 1 on and 1 out. Catcher hitting .278 on the year, 21 hits in his 24th start. Batting righty, Dyer a 3-stride lead at first. Villalobos delivers. A strike at the knees to Green. Green's first start of this series. Phillips started at catcher yesterday. The 0-1. Lined up the middle, diving second baseman Irizarry through. Line drive, base hit for Jake Green. 2 on with 1 out in the bottom of the second. The Otters threatening to strike first.
And Green, a guy who hits very well against left-handed pitchers. Not a huge sample size of games, but in the at-bats he's had, he's hitting .412 against lefties coming into this game. Puts really solid contact on a changeup just below his knees. Good piece of hitting. Otters in business here, 2 on, 1 out.
Brings up the shortstop, George Khalil. Khalil was hitless yesterday, but did walk and come around to score. The Lobos beats back at second, delivers home. Khalil drives one high in the air to left field. This ball is gone. 3-run home run, George Khalil. The Otters take the early lead. Fourth home run of the season for the Australian and his second since the All-Star break.
And what an approach there by George Khalil. Just clobbers the first pitch he sees. Went hitless yesterday, but he had that really clutch at-bat in the 8th inning where he drew a walk after going down 0-2. That's back-to-back really good at-bats from George.
So the Otters take another early lead on a home run, just like last night on a Baez 2-run home run, as Noah Myers takes a strike at the knees. 367 feet down the left field line. The 0-1 to Myers is chopped up the middle, working to the right. The second baseman Irizarry to glove throw to first in time, 2 away. Khalil hit his 3rd home run of the season on Saturday at Tri-City, and now just a couple days later with a 3-run blast over the left field wall right down the line.
Yeah, just his 4th home run of the season, but when George Khalil does show that power, he gets his hands way out in front of the plate, and that's what he did just there. Got out in front of a pitch on the inside corner and crushed it.
First pitch to Kona Quiggle, I should say, is a strike. Khalil's 10th home run as an Otter. He had 6 homers last year in 78 games played in his first year in Evansville. 0-1, lined into right center field, drops for a single. Quiggle with the 3rd hit of the inning for the Otters. A 2-out knock keeps the inning alive.
And Kona stays hot, 3 for 5 yesterday. He had that home run, 2 RBIs, 2 runs. Guy who's provided a lot of offensive production to this Otters lineup. And left-handed hitter Andy McCulley keeps him in the leadoff spot today against a left-handed arm. We've seen that be the strategy as of late.
Skinder the righty. Quiggle takes off on the first pitch. Skinder lines one into center field. It is dropped by Galassi. Quiggle will keep on going from third. The ball rolls all the way to the warning track. Quiggle scores. Skinder to third. 4-0 Evansville. Galassi tried to make an awkward catch. The ball bounced right by him, and Harris, the right fielder, I should say, had to go all the way back to the warning track to retrieve it. Quiggle easily scores. Skinder all the way to third. What a costly mistake.
Yeah, it is. We'll see if that gets ruled as a triple or a single with an error, but really an inexcusable mistake. Galassi's got to keep that ball in front of him. Quiggle is actually running on the pitch, so he had a lot of momentum on the base paths. Now, you don't want to lay all the way out and dive and let that ball get by, but you think maybe a sliding attempt or just kind of trying to trap the ball, keep in front would have been a better approach.
Cost the Crushers a run as Jeffrey Baez swings and misses at the first pitch he sees. It will, though, go down as a triple to Skinder, and the Otters now hit their 16th triple of the season, which leads the Frontier League. Skinder at third, 0-1 to Baez is low. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 outs Runner at third in the bottom of the second inning. Evansville has scored 4 runs to take an early lead. 3-run home run by Khalil, base hit by Quiggle, RBI triple by Skinder. 1-1. Low, 2 balls to 1 strike. And again, the Crushers have not scored more than 4 runs in their last 7 games. Last time they scored more than 4 runs was in a game actually against the Otters. They scored 5 back on July 6th. Delivery, lined into center field. It'll fall for a hit. Skinder scores 5-0 Otters. The hit parade continuing for Evansville. 5 hits in the inning, 5 runs, and Yomar Reyes will come up as the 9th batter of the inning.
And Jeffrey Baez seems to just bring more and more confidence to each at-bat as of late, and it's a really good sign to have the heart of your order be a consistent presence if you're Andy McCulley.
2 outs. Baez at second. Reyes swings at the first pitch, lines it to left field. Isaacs Jr. back. It's gone! Line drive home run for Yomar Reyes. A 7-run second inning for Evansville. 4th home run of the season for Yomar. That ball barely cleared the fence. A line drive sailing straight out of the ballpark. 364 feet over the left field wall. The Otters have batted around with a massive second inning.
Yeah, and per usual, this Otters lineup just feeding off of each other, and the confidence continues to grow. Just continuous hard hit balls we're seeing off Villalobos.
Phillips swings at the first pitch, lines it up the middle of base hits. And Lake Erie's going to have to get some action going in the bullpen.
Hey, you're seeing a lot of guys step up and really take some hard cuts at the first pitch they're seeing. That pitch not even really close to the strike zone. It was really low. But when you've got a lineup full of confident guys, knowing that Villalobos hasn't gone deep into a start yet this season, it's just the approach they're bringing to the plate right now.
Only gone a combined 7 2/3 through his first 3 appearances. Only made it through 3 innings against Schaumburg and gave up 3 runs, but the Otters beating him up here in the second inning. 7 runs across now on 7 hits in the inning. Evansville has sent 10 batters to the plate. Dyer is going to come up the 11th batter of the inning. What an inning for the Otters. What a miscue it felt like by Galassi in center field. With 2 outs. Khalil hit the 3-run home run, but Myers grounded out. There was 2 outs. The inning was seemingly over, but now 5 straight hits by the Otters have put up a massive number in the second. First pitch to Dyer is fouled off the screen. 7 runs in an inning for the Otters. It ties their most runs in any inning this season. You have to go back to June 15th against Windy City. Last time the Otters scored this many in an inning. 0-1. He's lined off the end of the backgrounders, fair down the first baseline, picked up by Rego, who steps on the bag to retire the side. What an inning for Evansville. 7 runs on 7 hits, 2 home runs, a 3-run home run by Khalil, a 2-run home run by Reyes. It's all Otters after 2, 7-0 on the Evansville Otters. Digital Network and Flow Sports. Top of the third inning from Bosse Field. The Otters score 7 runs in the bottom of the second inning to take a 7-0 lead over Lake Erie. Time to take a look at the Frontier League standings, brought to you by Seal Corp. Plenty of action early this morning across the Frontier League, with Gateway losing again, so Schaumburg and Evansville both marching closer to the Grizzlies. Otters now 4 back, and Schaumburg winning today 3 games back. The team I want to highlight, though, is in the East, Lucas. Quebec is red hot. They're playing tonight against Sussex County. The Capitales have won 8 games in a row and are just 2.5 back entering the day in New Jersey as Drew Galassi takes a first pitch strike. The defending champions, it took a while, but they're really looking like it now. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike to Galassi.
Yeah, a ball club that brought some really high expectations into the 2023 season, and rightfully so. You mentioned defending champs. Finally looking like themselves again. It took a little bit to get going.
1-1 outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. They've got the best pitcher in the league. Their lineup certainly looked excellent when the Otters faced them. It was more a matter of the pitching coming around. They were having some issues at catcher. They figured it out in the month of July. The 2-1, grounded right side, bobbled by Phillips off a hop, gloves it, and sets back on the bag for the first out of the third inning.
Going back to those Gateway losses, really good time to get hot if you're Evansville. You've got this series against Lake Erie where the bats are seemingly coming to life. You follow that up with 3 games at home against Empire State, who, despite being better than they were last year, it's a series you would expect to win. So, chance to close that gap towards first place.
First pitch from Gossman to Kimwell. Thomas Rivera is plunked off his left shoulder. That's the first base runner of the game for the Crushers. It happened in the 8th batter yesterday as well against Tim Grafer. Thomas Rivera hit on the shoulder on the first pitch, so he's aboard at first. 1 out, brings up Josh Rega. Yeah, back to Gateway. Grizzlies were held to just 1 run yesterday in a 5-1 loss to the Boulders. Today shut out for the first time all year, losing 5-0. Lost 2 in a row to end the red-hot streak they had to start the month of July. Josh Rego takes the first pitch low for a ball. 1 on, 1 out, top of the third inning, 7-0 Evansville. 1-0, swing and a miss, 1-1. Well, for Gossman, a long time on the bench, but he has to love to see the run support from the Otters.
That's right. Gives him a chance to settle down when you're making your first start after 11 days. He came in with a really good approach, though, throwing lots of strikes, working both sides of the plate really well.
Delivery lined into left field, taking Myers back. It's down for a base hit. Cut off by Myers. Thomas Rivera hustling to third base safely without a throw. It's the first hit of the game for Lake Erie, a base hit by Rego. Thomas Rivera to third, Rego at first. Runners on the corners with 1 out. 7-1 the Otters lead. So Gossman had retired the first 7 batters of the game, but back-to-back reaching at the bottom of the lineup, back to the top of the order in Jared Watkins. Gossman throws. Watkins takes inside, 1-0. Gossman got 16 runs of support in his first start of the season, which is the most the Otters have still scored in any game this season, as Watkins takes outside 2-0. That was in a 16-3 mauling of Ottawa back in May. But that feels like it was years ago, doesn't it, Lucas? That game, I remember it, but it feels so long ago. 2-0. Line down the right field, line of fair ball. This ball will roll all the way to the wall. Thomas Rivera scores. Rego hustling to third base and held there. An RBI double for Jared Watkins. The Crushers are on the board. They trim the lead to 7-1. My point, though, is Gossman has not been given much run support this season. This is the first time that the Otters have scored more than 6 runs in any game that Gossman has pitched in since that very first start against the Titans all the way back on May 16th. Runners at second and third with 1 out for Jack Harris. First pitch is low for a ball.
And it allows him to stay calm in a situation like this in the third inning. You got a lot of room to work with. Lake Erie team that's not known for putting a lot of runs on the board, so you should go out there, continue to throw strikes, and have confidence in your stuff.
1-0. Outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Otters planting 7 runs in the second inning. Had a stretch of 5 straight hits and sent 11 batters to the plate. 2 home runs highlighted the inning. 2-0. Lined off the foot of Harris into fair play, but just hit off the side of his foot, a foul ball. 2-1. 7 in the second, tied for the most runs by the Otters in any inning this season. After a come-from-behind victory yesterday, Otters looking to get out to this early lead and secure the series today. So we'll try to do it a back-to-back home series. Something they hadn't done since May. Didn't do the whole month of July in any series as Harris fouls one away right side. You go back to that week in May, the Otters won 6 in a row at home. They swept both Ottawa and Trois-Rivières, 2 teams that have not had a huge amount of success this year, though the Titans have played a little better of late. This feels like a chance for a week to do something similar. 2-2. Low, good stop by Green and a full count to Harris. That's big because for the Otters, and I talked to some of the coaches, they said we didn't feel like we played that well that week. But we just were able to put the pieces together, and the Otters, for much of the season since then, have played 500 baseball, but they've stuck at around 7 to 8 games above 500 because of that 8-game win streak. Payoff to Harris. Chopped again, foul.
Yeah, and you look at the schedule, it seems like another week or even 2 weeks here where you have another chance to, especially start off with this week, win 5 or 6 games, really build up that win column quite a bit before you get on the road in August and September and face some really tough opponents to close out the season.
Payoff. Lined into left field, taking Myers and Quiggle back. It will fall on the grass. Cut off by Quiggle in front of the wall. Both Crushers ones will score. It's 7-3, and Lake Erie's right back in the ball game. How about the Crushers not going away? Harris, a 2 RBI double to left center. 3 runs across in the inning.
And Lake Erie responded really well yesterday also to those third and fourth innings where the Otters put 3 runs collectively on the board. They're showing some fight and got ourselves a bit of a ball game here. Max Peterson's going to work his way out to the mound.
Pitching coach to have a word with Gossman and the rest of the Otters infield. Can be tough to take you out of your rhythm when you have a 25, 30-minute inning. Sitting on the bench waiting as much as you love all the run support.
It's a good point because Gossman worked just 19 pitches between those first 2 innings. He had a really good rhythm going where he was just painting both corners and then sit in the dugout for a little bit. It's not easy despite what, you know, an average fan might think when you got that run support.
There's good and bad, certainly to a big inning for a pitcher. Tide Isaacs Jr. the batter. Harris at second with 1 out. 4 straight batters have reached for the Crushers. First pitch hits Isaacs Jr. Hits him on the shoulder. That's right where Gossman hit Thomas Rivera, which started this whole run of batters reaching. Brings up 2 on with 1 out. This was a problem for Gossman in his last start against Windy City. He hit 2 batters and walked 3 in that outing and only made it through 4 1/3.
You see Isaacs having a word with our home plate umpire, Mike Weinstein. Not sure what he is thinking about the intent there. As you see him talking to Dakota Phillips now, obviously he's displeased, but I wouldn't imagine Gossman has any intent of hitting batters in an inning such as this.
They've both been on breaking balls that have gotten away from it. Irizarry, the lefty, takes the first pitch outside for a ball. On the Otters, reliever James Crick, who has been used in this role to come in early in games when Otters starters struggle, which is incredibly rare. It's almost not happened at all this season. But Crick has filled that role a few times, and he's warming up. The 1-0 chopped right side, past the glove of Phillips into right field. Harris scores at 7-4. 4 runs in the inning for Lake Erie. They've scored more runs in this inning than they average in a game this year. They've done it with now 6 straight batters reaching. Crick continuing to get loose in the pen. Isaacs Jr. at second. Irizarry at first with 1 out. First pitch to Rakusin, lined into right field. Down for a base hit. Baez cutting it off all the way at the edge of the warning track. 1 run will score. Late hold of Irizarry at third base, but it's 7-5. An RBI double by Rakusin. This is unbelievable.
It's an offensive explosion between 2 of the best pitching teams in the league and 2 teams that aren't known for their bats. But both sides just starting to continuously step up to the plate with a lot of confidence. We saw lots of barreled up baseballs and hard contact from both sides now. And Max Peterson's going to return once again. Looks like that'll be it for Austin Gossman.
James Crick going to come into the ball game. Otters plate 7 in the bottom of the second. But things fall apart in a hurry for Gossman and the Otters in the top of the third inning. Wow. 7 straight batters of reach, 5 runs for the Crushers, and the tying run is on base for the Crushers as Crick coming into the game in the top of the third inning. This is already turning into a wild ball game, and we're still in the third inning. Back on the other side on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Evansville. Call to the bullpen, 21, James Crick. In to pitch the battery. Crick is on the mound. 3 behind the plate. Each pitch battery is powered by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East. 2319 North River Road, 812-475-9000. Till then, same from the Otters. St. You.
Back at Bosse Field, 7-5. The Otters lead the Crushers. James Crick, the ready pitcher, into the ballgame for the Otters in relief for Austin Gossman. Crick making his 20th appearance of the season, 3.58 ERA in 27 2/3 innings pitched. He's pitched as many as 44 pitches in an outing in this year in 2 2/3. He's been comfortable in this situation before coming in early for the Otters. He actually did it for Gossman in his last start at Bosse Field, pitching 2 2/3, and ended up earning the win in that start. So a spot that he's comfortable in. The Otters could certainly use some outs right now.
The life of a middle reliever coming in, 2 runners in scoring position, and more often than not, you're facing a lineup who has a lot of confidence.
Jackson Pritchard, the ready catcher, leads off, swings at the first pitch and pops it up into left center. Myers and Quiggle conversion. Myers will make the catch. Irizarry will tag from third. The Otters will throw down to third as Irizarry scores, and Rakusin safe at third at 7-6. So Lake Erie has batted around now. Galassi's going to come up for the second time this inning, but the Otters do get a much-needed out. That ends 5 in a row that had reached for the Crushers.
Well, if you're a fan who keeps score, both teams making it tough on you here, Griffin.
It's a mess. My book is a mess.
Back-to-back half innings where we've seen the lineups bat around.
First pitch to Galassi, sails high for a ball. Crick has allowed runs in his last 2 outings, but he was really good in that outing against Windy City a couple weeks ago. He only allowed 1 base runner. It was on a solo home run. Galassi swings and lines one into right at Baez, who's there to make the catch. Otters put 7 up in the bottom of the second. The Crushers respond with 6 of their own in the top of the third inning. We have a ball game. We move to the bottom of the third. The Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Otters are back tomorrow night. It's a Thirsty Thursday. It's also German Heritage Night. And we will have, for those who are natives of Germany, I apologize, Spaten München on draft. So we'll have that special drink on draft, and that's your favorite drink. You probably know how to say it better than I do. It is a Budweiser Thirsty Thursday, and there will be additional drink specials as well. Tickets at EvansvilleOtters.com or 812-435-8686. Plot filter, of course, is Swiss from Switzerland.
We've got a Wild West shootout on a Wednesday night from the River City. 7-6, Evansville leads Lake Erie as we move to the bottom of the third inning. 7 runs for Evansville in the bottom of the second, 6 for Lake Erie in the top of the third, but maybe the most surprising thing of that, Crushers are going to leave their starting pitcher in the ballgame. Villalobos coming out and firing a first pitch strike to Jake Green to lead off the bottom of the third. What do you make of this decision, Lucas?
Yeah, you got to wonder how much of this was based on that 6-run third inning.
A 1 outside. Check swing by Green held up 1-1.
Off the bats of Lake Erie, we saw him get some arms loose, people up and moving in the bullpen.
Green swings and pops one up into shallow center. In is Galassi to make the snag. 1 away. Yeah, had some guys warm up, and the Otters' long run of 6 in a row reaching all came with 2 outs. Finally got Dyer to ground out to retire the side, and now Villalobos gets the first out of the bottom of the third.
And Lake Erie does have an excellent bullpen, but a chance here for Villalobos to kind of erase his memory if he's able to and start from scratch here. Only a 1-run deficit now.
First pitch to Khalil outside 1-0. Yeah, you don't really ever have give up 7 runs in an inning, and then you can just turn around and, as you said, kind of start over. It's a brand new ball game. Pitch home outside, 2-0 to Khalil. Just a weird game in front of a quiet audience on a dreary, humid Wednesday evening. 2-0. At the letters for a strike, 2-1. I know August is the dog days of summer, but I'll tell you, this feels like an ultimate dog days of summer game. I know it's not Sunday. 2-1. Khalil pops up right side out of play, but it's just muggy and dreary, and at this point you're tired of the heat in the summer. You were waiting for it all winter, and now you don't want the summer anymore. You're ready for school to start, maybe even. You're bored. It's a cruel summer now. 2-2. Khalil pops one up right side, and that's headed for the seats. It's interesting how there's so many songs about summer, and they're either really positive or they're very negative songs about summer, but you play the positive ones about summer in May and June, and then you start hating summer by July and August, and you play the hateful songs about summer. Khalil grounds one to the shortstop Watkins to glove it. Throw to first in time to beat Khalil by a few strides. 2 away.
Yeah, and if anyone hates this summer evening, it's a pitcher on either one of these sides so far in this offensive explosion. But good response here. Villalobos, 2 quick outs, settled down. Really good response after that 7-run second inning, from the Otters.
2 outs, nobody on. Number 9 batter Noah Myers. 7-6 the Otters lead, bottom of the third. Noah Myers takes a first pitch low. With this first inning taking so long and the sky's very dark and cloudy overhead, the lights are on and into pretty decent effect, even though it's just 7:30. 1-0. On the outside corner, a strike, 1-1. Villalobos throws inside, 2-1. Now the pitch count, obviously, with such a long inning, goes up. It's it. 53 pitches for Villalobos in the bottom of the third, so he can only go so long. 2-1, chopped foul. For two teams, these are two of the best pitching staffs in the league. Otters' best ERA in the league. Lake Erie entering the week with the third best ERA in the league. This is just a strange sight. 2-2, fouled away again off the screen. Villalobos throws low, and Myers works it full. I almost wonder mentally, especially for the Otters, you build out that big lead, kind of like, we put 7 runs on the board. It feels like the game is done. To flip that switch back on. The payoff, chopped up the middle, over to the right is the second baseman Irizarry to backhand it, throw to first, bounced and not in time. Off balance throw by Irizarry, bounced in front of Rego, and Myers runs it out down the line for an infield base hit.
That's another good point, Griffin. You put 7 runs across the board in your second inning. Almost feels like the job is done, and you hope your bats don't kind of check out, but certainly is possible. Nice to see Myers put some solid contact on the ball there and leg out an infield hit.
Back to the top of the order, and Kone Quiggle is pitch back to Myers, who steps back on the first base back. Otters 7, Crushers 6. Bottom of the third inning with 2 outs. Villalobos looking back at first, delivers, swing and a miss by Quiggle, 0-1. It's already the third at bat of the day for Kone in the third inning. Flew out in the first, got a base hit in the second and scored, and now back up here in the third. 0-1. Swing and a miss again, 0-2.
Back-to-back pitches up in the zone, both fastballs, I believe. Kone Quiggles goes and chases, see if Villalobos opts to elevate one even more here or break one off out and off the plate.
Villalobos steps off, and another pickoff throw back to Myers, but now he's used up both disengagements. Myers can take a big league over at first. Myers has 19 stolen bases on the season, has only been thrown out once. Noah's going to take about a 4-stride lead over at first base. Villalobos is looking at him as he delivers low, 1-2. Villalobos delivers. Myers takes off, but Quiggle pops it up into shallow center. Long run in for Galassi. Out is Watkins. The shortstop will make the catch in shallow left field for the third out of the inning. So Villalobos comes back out after giving up 7 runs in the second inning and works around just a base hit in the third to retire the side. We played 3 from Bosse Field. It's Otters 7, Crushers 6 on the Evansville Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. Welcome back to Bosse Field. We move to the top of the fourth inning. Otters lead 7-6, and to guide you through the next 3 innings, the national champion winner himself, here's Lucas Daunhauer.
Thank you, Griffin. Well, saw both teams bat around. We had a really good response on the mound from Uniker Villalobos. James Crick back out for another inning of work. Got those final 2 outs in the Crushers' big 3rd inning, 2 pop outs, and face Kimuel Thomas Rivera here to start off the inning. Crick sets above the belt, comes to the plate, strike 1 taken down the middle. Kimuel Thomas Rivera hit by a pitch in his last at-bat. 0-1, ball inside.
I think for Crick here, getting to just start a fresh inning has to be more comfortable for the reliever. Coming in for Gossman back in the 2nd inning with runs on, but able to get out of the inning with still the lead.
1-1 taken low. It'll move to 2-1. Good point, Griffin. Life as a middle reliever, obviously coming into uncomfortable situations. Crick able to establish his own inning here as he sets. Sign from Jake Green. 2-1. Fires breaking ball outside corner. It'll even the count 2 apiece. Otters infield playing deep. Both middle infielders heels on the grass for the Lake Erie DH. 2-2, breaking ball again. High into center field. Quiggle under it, and that'll be 1 away.
Just such a tough life as a middle reliever. You're kind of saying you're just asked to do a hard man's work and eat up outs. It's not necessarily the most attractive job. You're not typically working in super high leverage situations, though the game ends up being somewhat close here because of the high scoring affair. But you're not typically the guy that fans are going to remember after the game.
Good point, Griffin. First pitch taken high for a ball by Josh Rago. He had a single in that 3rd inning. I think if every position in baseball came with a job description, a middle reliever would certainly be the least attractive one. As the 1-0 is chopped to Khalil. Backhand throw is off the bag, and Rago will reach on what I would presume will be an infield single, and Crushers will get a runner on here with 1 out to start off their 4th inning.
Shortstop 5, Jared Watkins.
Going to bring up Jared Watkins, leadoff spot. Had a RBI double in that long 3rd inning as Crick working out of the stretch now. He'll have a look over at Rago on first base. Comes home, ball taken high, 1-0.
I like that idea. If every position on a baseball team was a LinkedIn posting, what would the job listing say?
I think there would be a lot of middle relief positions left open for the taking at the end, as that pitch is fouled. Green will give chase in foul territory, coming back, and it will fall. Reyes was working his way in. Griffin, I think that's just one of those foul balls that Bosse Field makes a little bit more difficult than you would find at any other ballpark, and Crick will step behind the mound and reset here. 1-1 count to Crushers' leadoff hitter.
Green's a great defensive catcher, too, but that's certainly not his strength. He misplayed a similar ball at Tri-City, which also has tricky foul territory on Sunday.
1-1 breaking ball. Nice block there by Jake Green. Good response. Well, Watkins went 1 for 4 last night. Got his 2nd hit of the series, we said last inning. 2-1 taken high. We'll move to 3-1. Hitters count here for Jared Watkins. Tying run on first base. Another ball taken high, and Watkins will work a 1-out walk. That'll put 2 on here for the Crushers. 1 out in the 4th inning. 7-6 if you're just now joining us. Offensive explosion in the bottom of the 2nd for the Otters. A 7-run inning, and Good response by Lake Erie last inning in the third. And we've got what feels like a whole new ball game here as we start off the fourth inning. I'll bring up Jack Harris. Breaking ball, another good block by Jake Green. Harris will get ahead in the count 1-0. Harris, another guy who had an RBI double in the third inning. Second year Crusher at the plate. Crick comes set. Kicks and comes home. Ball runs up and in. Hits Jack Harris right around the shoulder area as he annoyingly will shake it off and go grab his helmet that flew off in the process. That's the third Crusher we've had hit by a pitch here, Griffin. Don't think there's any intent, but Ethan Skinder on the Otters did have 2 hit by pitch yesterday.
Crick, biggest issue this year has been some issues with command. 19 walks entering today in just over 27 innings. And he's put himself in some trouble now here in the I can't believe it's still just the top of the fourth inning.
Certainly doesn't feel like it. That'll load the bases for best hitter in this Crushers lineup. Todd Isaacs Jr. takes ball 1 high. Well, a 1-out base hit from Josh Rago. He's on third, and then Jared Watkins worked a walk, and Jack Harris hit by a pitch. So you'd have to think Todd Isaacs going to make James Crick come to him here with just 1 out, a big chance to tie the ball game. Bases loaded. Crick sets and fires. Breaking ball misses outside, 2-0.
The Otters have the lefty Hunter Clucky now warming in the Otters bullpen.
You'd think Todd Isaacs Jr. would be taking till he gets a strike here. We'll see Jake Green come out and have a word with his pitcher. But Brian Rosario in the 8th inning yesterday, Griffin, had 5 or 6 consecutive balls thrown before he came up to the plate in a really big situation. And he took advantage of that, jumped all over the first pitch he saw in what we called the most clutch and probably the biggest hit off the bat of Rosario. So you got pitchers struggling with command on the mound. You're going to get a lot of pitches in the zone as a response, as Green will work his way back and Isaacs will step in. 2-0 count, bases loaded, 1 out here in the top of the fourth. Crick sets. 2-0, taken low. That'll bring us to a 3-0 count.
Yeah, I don't think regardless here you're swinging with the bases loaded.
Likely not a situation where Jared Lemieux will give his hitter a green light. That one taken up and in, and that's going to walk in a run and tie this baseball game. It's been a really odd evening of baseball, Griffin, has it not?
It's been bizarre. I think this is the weirdest Otter game I've seen, and we're in game number, 55 of the season, and that's going to do it for James Crick. And this is really the first time, I'd say, all season the Otters, maybe the series at Florence, which was also a wild series with a lot of offense, but where the Otters bullpen is feeling a little shorthanded right now. Crick just did not have his command today. Walks in a run to tie this game at 7. Evansville just looking for a pitcher to get outs. When have we said that? All season long, and not just that, but against the worst scoring offense in the Frontier League. This has just felt like a game where everything is upside down.
That's right, a night where you're asking a lot out of your bullpen. That's going to bring in the left-hander Hunter Clucky, so he'll step into a bases-loaded situation with 1 out. We'll step aside for a quick break and return. 7-7 with 1 out here in the top of the fourth. Don't go anywhere. We got a ball game on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Tell them, Zane from the Otters send you. 22, second baseman Keenan Irizarry.
Welcome back to Bosse Field, an offensive explosion, 7-7. Left-hander out of Henderson County, Kentucky. Hunter Cluckey steps on the mound for the Otters. He'll face Keenan Irizarry, who had a RBI single in the third inning. Working out of the stretch.
You bring
Ball
in,
that misses inside, it seems. What do you think, Griffin? Looked like a tight zone there. It's the zone according to our Yacker Tech. Breaking ball out of hand to Cluckey.
it looked like a strike, but you bring in Cluckey here to face the lefty.
The ball that's rocketed off the bat of Irizarry. A diving Phillips will not be able to knock it down. That's going to bring in 2 runs for Lake Erie, and the Crushers will take a 9-7 lead. We bring in Cluckey for the lefty-on-lefty matchup. Keenan Irizarry, what a response. 2 RBIs off the bat there. That's his 3rd RBI of the evening. And this score count just continues to grow, Griffin. Lots of confidence out of both teams' bats. That'll bring up Zach Rakusin here.
And 3 straight 3 passes are going to kill you.
Ball will be taken low for ball 1. Yeah, no doubt,
Yeah, the 2 walks is sandwiched in between a hit by pitch, so the 3 straight, and then the base hit by Irizarry.
certainly forces you to go out there with the intent of throwing a lot of sure strikes, but Cluckey misses there 2-0. Just seems like a newfound confidence in both of these lineups here tonight. Rakusin, RBI double in the 3rd as Cluckey sets above his blue belt. Takes a look at both runners on base. He'll come home. Ball misses high. 3-0. 9-7 here with 1 out still. Top of the 4th inning. Mentioned uncharacteristic offensive explosion from both of these sides as Cluckey fires home, puts that one down the middle for a strike. 3-1. Well, Zach Rakusin, 1 for 3 with an RBI last night. 2nd straight day with an RBI here, mentioned in the 3rd inning. Both runners will go. Rakusin takes that the other way. Baez is going to pick it up, and that'll bring in Todd Isaacs Jr. Looked like a hit and run from the Crushers. Both runners slid into their respective bases, so Todd Isaacs Jr. had to quickly get up. He saw that he had enough time. Baez didn't come up throwing. That'll make this a 10-7 ball game, and Rakusin's 3rd RBI of the series.
Well, this is now only the 2nd time the Otters pitching staff has allowed double-digit runs in any game this season. And Cluckey fell behind the count, too, and that cost him.
Jackson Pritchard squares around a bunt. That one will go foul. We saw the Crushers use small ball yesterday. Had 2 squeeze play bunts that resulted in a pair of runs in their big 6th inning last night. 0-1 count. Runners on 1st and 3rd. Cluckey sets and fires. That ball down the middle. Breaking ball for strike 2. Gets ahead of Pritchard.
I mean, we both slept poorly last night, but maybe all of the Otters also slept poorly last night. That's just what it looks like. Or at least the Otter pitchers.
0-2 in the dirt. Good block by Green with a runner on 3rd. Breaking ball from Cluckey. Can't get Pritchard to bite.
Sorry, Lucas. I said this in the one Florence game that went awry for the Otters when they scored 16 runs. It was just bound to happen that the Otters were going to have a pitching game where things fell apart. It just happens in a long 96-game season, and I think we're just seeing it for the 2nd time this year, though this feels really self-inflicted.
1-2 fouled off by Pritchard. Zach Rakusin was running on the pitch. Well, you've got Evansville Otters, who lead the league in ERA, 3.57 team ERA coming into this game. Lake Erie Crushers, 3rd in the league in team ERA, 3.94. But yeah, just uncharacteristic outings from both staffs, and they happen to fall on the same night as the 1-2 chased by Pritchard. Was it fouled off? No. Good breaking ball there by Clucky, and there's 2 away here in the top of the 4th.
Boy, did the Otters need that. That retires a stretch of 6 straight batters that it reached.
And for the second straight inning, Lake Erie will bat around. That's going to bring up Drew Galassi for his 3rd at-bat in the last 2 innings, Griffin. Rakusin takes off. Green will throw down to second. Tag applied athletically by the Australian George Khalil. And how about that? That's going to get the Otters out of this inning. So a really good play there by Jake Green behind the plate. Well, a 4-run top of the 4th inning will give Lake Erie a 10-7 lead. Offensive explosion here at Bosse Field. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're listening on the Otters Digital Network and watching on Flow Sports.
Trust Paramount Dental, based right here in the Hoosier state of Indiana. Paramount Dental has been insuring smiles for more than 37 years. Keep on smiling with Paramount Dental. 2023 brings new opportunities to catch all the latest Frontier League action. Be sure to check out Frontier League and the Evansville Otters on Flow Sports, the official streaming partner of the Frontier League. Never miss a game and follow along all the way to the championship. Visit EvansvilleOtters.com for links to watch and subscribe for all Frontier League and Flow Sports content. Back to smiling.
Welcome back to Bosse Field. 10-7 ball game. Crushers lead the Otters going into the bottom of the 4th. Villalobos back out for his 4th inning of work despite allowing 7 runs in the 2nd inning to the Otters. Mentioned deepest he's gone into an outing this year was 4 2/3. So a chance for him to run deeper into a ball game, sitting at 63 pitches. Ethan Skinder will take strike 1. Caught the corner of the zone. 0-1 count to Otters shortstop. Ball popped up in the infield. Shading over is Keenan Irizarry. He will make the catch. 1 away here to start off the bottom of the 4th.
I mean, as much as the Otters are the winds are out of the sails of the Otters. The winds are out of the sails of the crowd. But Evansville's only down 3 runs, which is a deficit they've come from behind a couple times recently here at Bosse Field, as much as they've given up 10 runs over the last 2 innings.
That's right. It's a find out what you're made of kind of ball game. And if looking to start something, this is the man. Jeffrey Baez takes ball 1 outside. 1-0. Catches the inside corner, evens the count at 1 apiece. Baez, pair of singles to start off the game, and RBI as well. He's been hot as of late as Villalobos misses outside, 2-1. Lake Erie infield playing with their heels on the grass, respecting the power of the Otters all-star right fielder. Villalobos comes home, misses outside once again, 3-1. And with how hot Jeffrey Baez has been and how hard of contact we've seen, looks like Villalobos being careful with what he throws him here. 3-1. Misses outside, and Baez works a 1-out walk.
You very much need a spark right now if you're the Otters. You need, like a home run, a couple runners on to wake yourself back up, because the 7 runs in the 2nd, and it's now 10 unanswered by Lake Erie. 10 unanswered. The Otters actually did a good job in that one game at Florence where they ended up giving up 16 runs. Evansville scored in that ball game. They fought their way back a couple times to get that deficit down to 3-2. Couldn't end up winning, but hit well in that game.
As Yomar Reyes takes ball one outside. Well, Griffin, a lot of baseball left to be played. And speaking of home runs, Yomar Reyes had a 2 RBI home run in the second inning and comes up here with another chance to do something as Villalobos will check on Jeffrey Baez over at first, used one of his disengagements. Reyes has led the Otters in batting average. He's been able to hit for average about as well as he has throughout his whole career. Takes this pitch inside, 2-0 count to the Otters' third baseman.
Thomas Bruss, the big righty for Lake Erie, is warming up in the Crushers bullpen. 70 pitches now for Villalobos, and this is the longest he's gone so far in any outing this season, just his third outing. This might be his last inning.
2-0. Misses low, 3-0. You'd have to think Reyes taking all the way here. That's, say, 6 consecutive balls we've seen out of the Crushers left-hander.
Happy running.
Sets here. Ball swung on the 3-0 count. Yomar Reyes must have had the green light. This ball will fall into the Otters bullpen foul. Count will move to 3-1.
I mean, it was right down the middle of the plate, but when you've walked a batter before in 3 straight balls, it's an interesting choice.
And to be fair, though, Reyes coming off of that monstrous home run that he hit in the second inning. Feels like an eternity since he's been up to the bat, but we'll redo it here. 3-1 count to the Otters' third baseman. Villalobos kicks and fires ball. Hit to second base. Irizarry will go to Watkins at short and just opt to get the lead runner. A fielder's choice that Reyes will reach on, and 2 away here in the bottom of the fourth.
Number 7, Dakota Phillips.
Well, that'll bring up Dakota Phillips, lefty first baseman for today. One of the Otters' catchers. Breaking ball swung on and missed. 0-1 to All-Star Dakota Phillips. Phillips, 4th year with the ball club. He's a seasoned veteran here in the Frontier League. As ball fouled away into our parking lot. 0-2 here to Dakota. Saw the Crushers really have a big defensive shift, especially with their second baseman playing basically behind first base last night to Phillips, playing him a little bit more true tonight as the 0-2 misses high. 1-2 to Dakota. We'll say Zach Rakusin over at third is playing way off the line. So Lake Erie continuing to kind of adjust their defensive alignment here to Dakota Phillips. Breaking ball misses outside. 2-2 to the Otters' first baseman.
What was it? The Diamondbacks Braves score last night was 17-13.
That's right. We're working our way up.
Crushers up by a field goal right now.
Yeah. Working our way towards that here at Bosse Field for a nice mid-July baseball game. 2-2. Hard contact by Phillips. Picked up by Irizarry. He will make the play, and that'll end things here in the fourth. Well, Lake Erie takes a 10-7 lead into the 5th inning. Otters having to work from behind here this evening. They did it last night. We'll see if they can do it again. We'll be right back here at Bosse Field. Don't go anywhere. You're listening on the Otters Digital Network and watching on Flow Sports.
Let's get some applause together for your Southwest Graphics Evansville Otter Band, please. Have you seen them in the Otter Round lately? Make sure you tell them hello when you do. Evan's excited to see all of our fans here this evening and encourages you to visit Heritage for all your banking needs. Heritage, a proud partner of Evansville Otters baseball. Center fielder, 15, Drew Galassi.
Welcome back to Bosse Field. Hunter Clucky out for another inning of work out of the Otters bullpen. He'll face Drew Galassi, 2-0 count to the lefty. Clucky kicks and fires, strike one. Move it to 2-1.
10-7 lead for Lake Erie. 7 runs for the Otters in the second, 6 in the third for Lake Erie, 4 in the fourth.
Ball 3 misses low. Drew Galassi 0 for 2 on the evening tonight, but he had that monstrous home run last night, Griffin, as
He's got some pop.
he does. Clucky catches the inside corner. Move it to 3-2.
He has 5 home runs on the year, 3 with the Crushers, and then 2 with Schaumburg to start the year.
Payoff pitch misses high, and Galassi works a leadoff walk to start off the 5th.
Designated hitter, 31, Kim Well, Thomas Rivera.
The Otters' struggles, you got to at least get pitches over the plate. Evansville was pinpoint yesterday with their pitch accuracy, just 1 walk from the whole pitching staff. Tim Oldgrafer's some of the best control of any professional baseball pitcher I've seen, and just not happening today for the Otters.
Kimuel Thomas Rivera fouls off the first pitch he sees from Clucky. Well, Gossman was pounding the strike zone in his first 2 innings of work, Griffin. Just 19 pitches in those first 2 innings. He had a really good approach on the mound here tonight. But Otters pitchers have struggled with command ever since. As Clucky sets, he'll check on Galassi over at first in safely.
3 walks, 2 at batters, and an offense that it's like a boulder right now, rolling downhill, getting faster and faster, and building more and more momentum.
As Clucky kicks, breaking ball over the plate, that'll move the count to 0-2. Thomas Rivera, the DH tonight for Lake Erie. Didn't see him last night. 263 average on the season. Clucky will do an 0-2. Breaking ball in the dirt, misses low, gets under Jake Green, and Drew Galassi will take second base on a wild pitch.
This kind of just feels like an offensive outburst, too, from a team that has been waiting such a long time for this to happen. Get this. Lake Erie has scored double-digit runs once before this season. It was in their very first game of the year. Since then, they have not reached this double-digit mark till today.
Thomas Rivera fouls off the 2-2 down the third baseline. Well, it's a good night to have it, as the Otters brought their bats here this evening as well. Last series against the Titans was extremely low scoring from Lake Erie. They dropped 2 of those 3 ball games and looking to bounce back after an opening night loss here at Bosse Field last night. Clucky kicks and fires. Ball misses in the dirt again, and another wild pitch. That'll move Drew Galassi over to third base, and Thomas Rivera with a full count will just look to have an productive at-bat here and provide another insurance run for Lake Erie. 10 RBIs on the season, looking to get his 11th here. Thomas Rivera steps in, payoff pitch, misses upstairs, and Lake Erie works another walk.
First baseman,
It'll bring out Max Peterson. We've got a couple arms working in the Otters bullpen. Looks like primarily is 36 Tyler Vale.
I mean, Clucky, similar to Crick, struggling with his command, and even if it's not walks, it's falling behind, and that's leading to good contact, barreling up baseballs and base hits for the Crushers. It feels like it's a bug right now in the Otters, and as you say, hitting's contagious. I think bad pitching can be contagious too, and it is tonight for Evansville.
It's a tough situation, like you said. When you struggle with command a couple batters in a row, you're forced to hang some balls a little more over the plate than you normally would like to, and it's led to a lot of hard contact from both teams here tonight. I'll bring up Josh Rago, first baseman for the Crushers. He's got a pair of hits on the evening, and runners on first and third as Clucky misses outside 1-0. Nobody out here in the top of the fifth. Crushers still lead 10-7. Clucky sets above the blue belt, takes a look at first, misses outside fastball. 2-0 to the Crushers' first baseman.
11 walks on the season and 20 2/3 innings pitched for Clucky. It's not been a serious problem, his command.
2-0, fastball misses outside once again. 3-0 count. No, it hasn't been an issue. We've normally seen Clucky be very reliable and throw a lot of strikes out of the bullpen, but like you said, baseball is a funny sport where, you know, play can be contagious on any given night, and Otters pitchers just struggling here in the middle of the game. A lot of baseball left to be played, though. 3-0. Clucky sets and fires. Fastball misses low. Jake Green thought it was in the zone. Lake Erie will work another walk, and that's going to load the bases here with still nobody out. Max Peterson is coming out. We're going to have another Otters pitcher out of the bullpen. Looks like it'll be Tyler Vale, Griffin.
Yeah, you just need someone to throw strikes right now for the Otters. It's that simple.
Well, Vale can do just that. 1.88 ERA. Sixth-year Otter. He's been a reliable arm, and he comes into a tough situation here. Bases loaded, nobody out in the top of the fifth. Don't go anywhere. 10-7 Crushers here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Evansville called the bullpen. 36 Tyler Vale. In to pitch. The battery. Vale is on the mound. Green behind the plate. The battery powered by the Answer Auto Repair East. 2319 North Peterborough Road. 812-475-9000. Tell them. Sing from the Otters. Sing you.
Welcome back to Bosse Field. 10-7 lead for the Crushers. Tyler Vale, sixth-year Otter, will step in with bases loaded, nobody out. Vale has been a reliable arm for the Otters. 1.88 ERA in 14 1/3. Looking to bounce back from tough last outing at Tri-Cities, but could be a big performance here if he's able to escape this one. Top of the order for Lake Erie. Nice breaking ball to Jared Watkins, and Tyler Vale gets ahead 0-1.
Now, Vale's command has been about the best on the Otters all season, except for his last down against Tri-City when he walked 3 or 4 batters. The pitch missed inside to Watkins, 1-1. Before that, he had only walked 2 batters all season.
That's right, a guy who brings a lot of command, just comes out of the bullpen and pounds the strike zone. And boy, do the Otters need that right now. 1-1 here to Jared Watkins. Vale comes set, kicks and fires. Comebacker up the middle. Khalil will dive, but this one works its way into center field. That's going to bring home 2 more runs for Lake Erie and a 2 RBI base hit for Jared Watkins.
Everything's going Lake Erie's way. That ball doesn't hit the mound. That's a tailor-made double play ball to at least get 2 outs. But the extra skid off the mound brings some extra momentum right past Khalil, and all of a sudden a 5-run lead for Lake Erie. They've scored 12 unanswered. This is the most runs the Crushers have scored in any ball game all season, and it's all happened in 3 innings.
Yeah, some nights just everything is falling your way, and a ball that wasn't hit super hard off the bat of Jared Watkins. We'll bring up Jack Harris. He takes a first pitch strike. Nice breaking ball from Tyler Vale. 2 on, still nobody out here in the top of the 5th. Oh, 1 to Harris. Another breaking ball. This one fouled off towards the Otters dugout. Otters coaching staff having to move out of the way. That one bouncing off the net, and Vale gets ahead of Harris 0-2 here.
I'll have to check the numbers, but I mean, this is Otters team that has had excellent command all year, has been extremely stable.
Another breaking ball fouled off, this time to the left side of the ball diamond. Jack Harris continues to battle.
And it just makes it so much more jarring to watch a game like this. It just seems like we're not even looking at the same team that we've seen for 54 games this year. And it all started with the Otters leading by 7 runs.
Another breaking ball. Jack Harris checks his swing. Craig Sparks over on the first baseline says he does not go. Count works to 1-2. Certainly has been uncharacteristic, but the Otters, plenty of time left to work their way back here tonight. Got to get out of the 5th here, though. 1-2. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Jack Harris goes down swinging. 1 away.
At this point, Vale's job just to find ways to get outs and just start working your way through this game. A 5-run deficit, and certainly the wind has left the sails hours ago of the Otters. Just need outs from your veteran, and Vale's certainly a 6-year vet, composed guy that can do that for you.
That's right. Breaking ball to Todd Isaacs Jr. Misses outside. 1-0. Said it was just a little unfortunate that 2 RBI base hit from Jared Watkins. Wasn't super hard contact. Tough way to start your outing if you're Vale. Another breaking ball. Todd Isaacs can't hold up. Count moves to 1-1. Isaacs hit by a pitch in the 3rd and a walk in the 4th. He's reached base twice, but yet to put a baseball in play. This one in the dirt. And Josh Rago is going to take 3rd base. Jared Watkins stays put at 1st. So runners on 1st and 3rd here. That's going to take away the force out possibility at 3rd base. Count will move to 2-1 to the best hitter in this Lake Erie lineup. Vale sets just above the belt. Kicks and fires. Ball misses outside. 3-1.
Had a lot of wild pitches and balls in the dirt as well that have not helped the Otters in their confidence, advancing more runners.
That's right. We saw the Otters benefit from that in that series against Windy City just before the All-Star break as Vale pounds a fastball down the middle. Count moves to 3-2. Payoff pitch coming. Chance for a double play if he can get a ground ball up the middle. Vale kicks and fires, misses low, and that's going to load the bases once again for Lake Erie.
Well, what do you have for lunch today, Lucas?
I had a quesadilla, Griffin, and the Otters
That sounds good.
just looking to get out of this inning. They would love to think about anything except the way this baseball game has gone so far this evening. That'll bring up Keenan Irizarry, second baseman for Lake Erie. Nice breaking ball, runs inside. Irizarry fouls it off, 0-1.
Over the last, it's just 2 innings, the Otters have walked a combined 6 batters, plus they hit 2 back in the third. It's 8 free passes over the last 3 innings.
Off speed, inside once again. Irizarry fouls another one off. Gonna move it to 0-2. Well, a chance for a force at any base. One away here in the top of the 5th. 12-7 Lake Erie. 0-2 to Irizarry. Nice breaking ball down the middle. That's strike 3 looking, and Tyler Vale is an out away from getting out of the 5th.
That was a beautiful pitch. 77 miles per hour from Vale, freezing Irizarry. And it's certainly not as high of velocity for Vale as he once had. He's the oldest player on the Otters, but seeing his stuff is still really strong.
Misses outside to Zach Rakusa. Well, it's a 3-pitch mix for Tyler Vale. Fastball, curveball, slider. He's got a pair of breaking balls with a little bit of a different look to them, and Irizarry can't figure it out there. 1-0 to Zach Rakusa. Nice breaking ball. Strike down the middle taken. 1-1 to the Crushers' third baseman. Rakusa double in the third inning. He's 1 for 3 on the night. 1-1 misses outside. 2-1 to Rakusa. Well, Rakusa, we mentioned last night, quite the journeyman. He's played on 3 indie ball teams this summer, 10 throughout his professional career. Looking to tack on another insurance run for the Crushers. That one misses inside. Count will move to 3-1.
I looked last year, he played on 5 different indie ball teams in the
Yes.
season. He played on 3 different teams in the Atlantic League. Was also on Gateway and a team in the American Association.
Quite the journeyman. One catches the outside corner. Rakusin thought it was ball 4. Started working his way towards first base, and he will go ahead and take his timeout here to get reset. Pitch clock is running, but that will have to be reset by our home plate umpire here, Mike Weinstein.
I'd be curious to talk with Rakusin and ask him more about that journey and his incredibly large amount of frequent flyer miles, I imagine, at this point.
Likely a lot of bus rides in indie ball.
That too.
3-2 payoff pitch coming to Rakusin. Fastball misses outside, and that is going to walk in the 13th run of the evening and the 20th run of this ball game here at Bosse Field.
And I think the Otters' loss at Florence, where they give up 16 runs, was certainly a struggle pitching staff-wise, but it felt more like Florence just hitting home run after home run and breaking open the Otters. That's not the case here.
That's right. The Crushers making the Otters pitchers come to them now as Jackson Pritchard takes ball 1 outside.
This is just as I said kind of before, a contagious bug that no one can throw strikes in a pitching staff.
Fastball in the dirt. Good block by Jake Green. Count moves to 2-0.
It can happen at all levels too. I mean, for me personally, I think every baseball team I've been with, whether it D1 college ball or collegiate summer ball, I've seen it happen on a night for a staff where it just no one can throw strikes. And it's happening tonight for Evansville.
Tyler Vale, 2-0. Nice breaking ball, catches the outside corner, 2-1. Well, Otters pitching staff has been with very little flaw this year. Mentioned number 1 in team ERA in the Frontier League. Just not their night here this evening. Breaking ball in the dirt, swung on and missed by Pritchard. Count moves to 2-2.
Most walks the Otters had thrown in any game all season was 10 at New Jersey back on May 25th, and 9 of those were thrown by the starter in that game, John Vargas.
2-2 to Pritchard. Breaking ball in the dirt. This one will get away from Jake Green, and that is going to plate another run. Jared Watkins makes his way across home plate. All Lake Erie runners advance, and that's going to make it 14-7 here in the top of the 5th.
I have to feel for Jake Green at this point. A lot of time for him. I mean, an incredibly large amount of time for him behind home plate. You can only imagine how his legs are feeling at this point.
He's an extremely hard worker. We've applauded his work ethic throughout the whole season, but certainly has been a busy night behind the dish here for Jake Green. Pritchard takes time, and we'll get a payoff pitch here with 2 down in the top of the 5th. Vale taking his time to step on the mound. He'll take the sign from Jake Green behind the plate. Comes set. Payoff pitch. Ball misses just outside, and that's going to walk the bases loaded once again.
Walk number 8 on the day for the Otters.
Center fielder, 15.
8 walks, hit 3 batters. It's 11 free passes handed out. Crushers only have 9 hits, for which for 14 runs is very low. It's the same number of hits the Otters have.
That's right, and they've batted around in yet another inning. It's going to bring up Drew Galassi as he takes ball 1 outside. Galassi's 4th at-bat here in the last 3 innings. All of the Otters fans voicing their displeasure with Mike Weinstein behind the plate. 1-0 to Galassi, taken low. Ball 2. Jake Green pauses for a second just to ask where that one missed. Nowhere to put him. Bases loaded, 2 outs. 14-7 Lake Erie here in game 2 of 3 in the Crushers' only appearance at Bosse Field this year. That one driven into center field. Kona Quiggle works his way to his right. He's camped under it and makes the grab. Well, that'll do it here in the 3rd inning. 4 more runs added on by Lake Erie. 14-7 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. You're tuned in to Otters Baseball on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Give it all you got for the center point of the game. Your Evansville Otters need your support to give them energy boost for a win tonight. Designated hitter, number 17, John Dyer.
Welcome back to Bosse Field, bottom of the 5th inning. Well, Frontier League Baseball on Flow Sports is brought to you by Old National Bank. Your success is everything. Villalobos out for his 5th inning of work. It's his longest start of the season, and first pitch fouled off by Otters DH John Dyer. Dyer looking to get things going here for the Otters. Just his 10th game in an Otters uniform. as that pitch misses inside 1-1.
It's what we're saying about Villalobos. It's got to be the weirdest start of ever for him. Dyer takes low 2-1. I mean, he gives up a 7-run inning. You think you can't possibly bring him back out. They do. But he's been sitting on the bench for 30 minutes each time before he comes back out. It's 2-2 to Dyer as he fouls one off the screen. So it's almost like he's making multiple relief appearances at this point. I don't know how to describe it, but he's getting so much rest. I think that's helping him continue to pitch longer into this game.
Ball rocketed back up the middle, gloved by Watkins, makes the throw to first. One away here for Villalobos in the fifth. Well, yeah, his longest start of the season. He's working into his fifth inning of work. And longest time-wise, without a doubt. He's been on the mound for a span of about 2 hours, not consecutively, but he's been in the dugout for long periods of time as well, as first pitch fouled off by Otters catcher Jake Green. Certainly can be tough as a pitcher. You get cold over in the dugout when your team bats around a few times. One misses outside, 1-1. Obviously not the start he wanted, allowing 7 runs in the second inning, but he got a new chance to establish himself, and he's done just that. Hard hit ball off the bat of Green. Watkins smothers it over at short. Pair of nice plays by the Lake Erie shortstop, and there's 2 away here in the fifth.
Yeah, the only all-star selection for the Crushers. He's a smooth fielding shortstop. We mentioned it yesterday. I think a couple Crushers pitchers were robbed of spots on the All-Star team. It's remarkable Lake Erie only had 1 selection to go to the All-Star game last week at Ozinga Field outside of Chicago. But Watkins certainly was at the All-Star game for as much his glove as his bat.
Quite the glove in the 6-hole for Lake Erie. George Khalil, the shortstop for the Otters, takes ball 1 upstairs, as Villalobos began his windup, but no one was ready other than him as he resets here. Somehow not a pitch clock violation, as that one misses low. 2-0 to the Australian. George Khalil, 3-run home run in the second inning, and
that was today.
was an explosion in the second inning. 7 runs for the Otters. Breaking ball catches the outside corner, 2-1. Feels like an eternity ago, as Griffin alludes to. 2-1 to Khalil. Fastball swung on and missed. 2-2.
I mean, you think the Crushers have scored 14 runs. The Otters often give up less than 14 runs in a series. We've seen 14 unanswered over 3 innings by Lake Erie off 4 Otters pitchers, 8 walks, and 3 hit batters to go along with 9 hits.
Been a lot of opportunity for the Crushers. That one chopped the third base. Nice short hop play by Zach Rakusin, and he makes the 3rd out of the inning. Well, that's 5 complete by Yoniker Villalobos, his best outing of the season, and Lake Erie will take a 7-run lead into our 6th inning. A marathon game here tonight at Bosse Field. Lots of baseball left to be played, though. Don't go anywhere. You're tuned in on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Ready, get set, and go! Spin around, dizzy bat 10 times. Poor Andrew over here, he's having a hard time, and I got a feeling he's going to fall on the grass here in just a second. Hey, there he goes. Both are building the center. Not doing too well right now. Abigail, look at there. She done won this game. The jersey might spell the sun, but the only way to top this up is real red wine vinegar made from red grapes and no good coloring. The only way to get it is at Jersey Mike's, because authentic ingredients make a sub of no, at 939 North Burkhart Road in Evansville. Make sure you check out the Otters Den team store. Say hello to my good friend Ron Trail. Ron Trail down at the Otters Den team store. Couple of scores for you. Cardinals beat the Marlins 6-4 earlier. They earned a sweep. Other scores include the Dodgers falling to Baltimore 8-5. Texas beats Tampa Bay 5-1. The Brewers beat the Phillies 5-3. The Reds with a 3-2 win over the Giants in Cincinnati.
Tyler Vale back out to work for the Otters. 14-7 lead for Lake Erie here as Vale out for another inning of work. Fourth Otters pitcher we've seen in this offensive explosion from both sides. Kimuel Thomas Rivera, Lake Erie DH, will start us off. He takes ball one outside and just looking to get out there and throw strikes if you're Tyler Vale.
Already over 32 pitches now, which is past his season high.
Ball misses low, 2-0 to Thomas Rivera. Well, Otters used 4 pitchers in that win last night, 6-4 game over Lake Erie to start off the series. This is the 4th pitcher we've seen tonight, and in a really important 6-game homestand, Griffin, you don't want to eat up too much of your bullpen here tonight as Thomas Rivera takes strike one down the middle, 2-1.
That's for sure. The one good news for the Otters is there's some changes brewing around the roster right now that could help relieve some of the challenges. Swing and a miss by Thomas Rivera, 2-2. John Vargas was just traded away to Tri-City.
That's right.
Today, the Otters getting a hitter back in return, but likely means we'll see some changes pitching-wise for the Otters the next few days.
2-2 swung on and hit hard to left field, right at Noah Myers, though, and he retires the first Lake Erie hitter of the inning, one away to start off the 6th. Want to make your lawn and landscape look like a field of dreams? Make sure you use Tim Barge professional brand products. Pick them up at any of our 3 locations, beautifying the community we live in and the grass we walk and play on, all since 1940. That's Tim Barge. First pitch misses high, 1-0 to Josh Rago. Lake Erie first baseman steps up with one away here, top of the 6th. Tyler Vale kicks and fires another nice fastball. Count moves to 1-1.
We had a 10-barge employee throw out one of the first pitches today, and he threw
did.
50 miles per hour at the bottom of the zone for a strike.
Griffin and I always enjoy tracking the first pitches on Yakkertech. Not all of them always register, but that one registered pretty well.
That was one of the hottest of the year.
It was. Vale misses upstairs 2-1. I'll have to see if mine records here at the end of the week, Griffin.
Yeah, it's going to – every worker with the Otters, every intern or employee. Strike to Rego on the outside corner, 2-2. They have to throw a first pitch on their last day, and Lucas's last day is Sunday. So, yeah, I'm excited. All of the camera out, Yakkertech ready to see where it is, how much a horizontal break on your pitch.
2-2 fouled off by Josh Rago. You think I should throw a fastball, or should I bring some kind of breaking ball off speed, Griffin?
I want to see a slider.
Oh, my. The arm hasn't thrown one of those in about 5 or 6 years. So
come around, full sidearm. come around from the side.
Submarine pitch we've seen a few times in the Frontier League here this year. 2-2 to Rago. Misses upstairs. Count goes full to the Lake Erie first baseman.
You're on the mound, though, right? You're not standing in the grass. You're on the top of the rubber.
I'm going to come set and everything,
okay.
I think. I may even bring a glove.
Okay. I like it. I like it.
Payoff pitch coming. Fastball swung on and missed. Tyler Vale throwing some strikes now. There's 2 away here in the 6th.
This was much needed. You have 3 straight innings where the Crushers bat around. And as he said, you just got to get outs at this point and work through as few pitchers as possible and just end this game and move on and forget about it.
That's right. Jared Watkins comes up for his 5th at-bat today, just in the 6th inning as Vale kicks and fires. That ball chopped off the end of his bat. Going to be a tough barehanded play for Yomar Reyes, and Jared Watkins is going to reach on an infield single. That's his third hit of the day, fourth time reaching base.
He's reached in 4 straight innings now.
How about that?
3 runs. I mean, there could be some records set for Lake Erie. We don't have the record book in front of us, but 5 at-bats now already for Watkins. It's just the 6th inning.
So 1 on, 2 away here. Jack Harris steps up to the plate. Big lead taken by Watkins over there. Vale won't bother to look, and it's 0-1 to the Lake Erie right fielder. Harris has a double of his own today in the 3rd inning. Pair of runs scored. That ball check swing, but fouled back behind a home plate. Count moves to 0-2, and Tyler Vale ahead in the count and desperately looking to get out of this inning. Sixth-year Otter comes set. 0-2. Misses just outside. Count's going to move to 1-2. Jack Harris, 2nd year Lake Erie Crusher. Played at a pair of Division II schools collegiately. One upstairs, swung on and missed. Tyler Vale will strike out Harris for the 3rd out of the inning. 14-7 here at Bosse Field. We move to the bottom of the 6th, where the Otters bats have some work to do. You're listening to Otters Baseball on the Otters Digital Network and watching on Flow Sports.
Time for the dance cam, brought to you by Drake's. We need everybody to get up and dance because Drake's is Matthew Will's go-to for 24 beers on tap. Big burgers and the freshest sushi in all of Evansville. Visit Drake's at 1222 Richland Road or drakescomeplay.com. Now let's dance. And let Bosse Field do the bidding for your next celebration. Go to one of our grandstands. Next to you and your guests will receive an exclusive Otters special edition hat. If you'd like to be a part of an upcoming Evansville Otters home game, it's simple. Go to EvansvilleOtters.com or call it 12435-8686. Back to dancing for Drake's.
Welcome back to Bosse Field. Frontier League Baseball on Flow Sports is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. We've got a new arm out for Lake Erie here in the bottom of the 6th. It's going to be number 45 right-hander Thomas Bruss. Otters hitters with a chance to face a righty. Noah Myers, the lefty, will lead us off here. Bruss, 4.95 ERA and 20 innings of work so far this season. Righty comes set, working out of the stretch. Fires. First pitch misses inside, 1-0 to the Otters left fielder.
He's a big guy, Lucas. 6'8", 280 on the mound.
Second pitch misses outside. He is Griffin. Is somewhat of a Kevin Davis-esque presence on the mound as Otters have their giant out of the bullpen as well. Myers looking to get things going here. One misses upstairs. Count moves to 3-0. Well, command has been a little bit of an issue for Bruss. 12 walks in, as we said, just 20 innings of work this year. And Otters hitters looking to be patient here as the 3-0 right down Broadway. Count moves to 3-1 to Myers.
Bruss pitched once against the Otters. Past series up in Avon, 1 1/3 innings pitched, didn't allow a base runner, 1 strikeout.
Another familiar arm out of Lake Erie bullpen. The Otters hitters have seen quite a few of them as another fastball catches the outside corner just barely. Count moves to 3-2. payoff pitch coming. Bruss sets and fires. One misses way outside, and Myers works a leadoff walk.
Well, the interesting thing about these teams playing so much, the month of July, they're playing 9 times in the span of 18 games. So everyone's really getting used to each other. All these batters are going to see the same pitchers many, many times, which often is an advantage for the hitters as much as these two teams are pitching heavy, which is interesting to kind of see as we play out towards and we move into the second half of games played between these two. If hitters start to have more an advantage, they certainly have tonight.
Yeah, it starts to become somewhat of a game of chess when you faced guys, especially out of the bullpen, a few times, and for it to happen so many times just in the month of July is kind of a crazy thought. Kona Quiggle steps up and takes strike one inside. Myers is going. Quiggle drives that one high into the air to center field. Galassi camped under it, and Myers will have to work his way back to first base, one away here in the bottom of the 6th.
It's just a really tough spot, too. I mean, I mentioned it earlier, for Otters batters, you're just shell-shocked. And
Second baseman, number 1.
you put together such a big inning, 7-0, and you just can't ever imagine what has happened next. The Otters have 9 hits, but no runs outside of that second inning. And they're going to have to, can't earn it back with a 7-run swing. To be patient.
Myers takes off again. This one misses inside, an easy stolen base for the Otters left fielder. That's going to be Myers' 20th stolen base of the season. He's got a lot of speed, and the Otters are going to move a runner into scoring position.
I feel like it's underrated how fast Myers is and how good he is at stealing bases. I mean, only thrown out once all season, 20 of 21, and certainly Brian Rosario, rightfully so, gets all the attention for the Otters, leading the league in stolen bases at 35. But 20 of 21 stolen bags on the season, really impressive for Noah Myers. And that's in the top 15 in the league of most stolen bases. And I think especially to only be thrown out once in that time, he's choosing his pitches so well, and he's really getting great jumps.
Yeah, his speed is certainly an asset. It can often go underlooked because of Brian Rosario's stolen base count, but Myers had 21 stolen bases in his collegiate season last year with USC Upstate as well. Skinder takes a breaking ball outside. Count moves to 2-0. Otters looking to get something going here. Runner in scoring position. One away in the bottom of the 6th. 14-7 Crushers, and this is first inning we've seen the Lake Erie bullpen. Bruss kicks and fires. Another pitch misses outside. Count moves to 3-0 to Ethan Skinder. Mentioned Bruss worked his 13th walk of the season to begin the inning against Myers, and Otters batters being patient here at the plate. 3-0. Right down Broadway once again, 3-1. Looking to get things going in any way that they can. That Otters second inning of 7 runs, one of the most electric we've seen all year, but nothing going ever since. 9 hits on the evening for the Otters. 3-1 misses off the plate. Ethan Skinder works another walk. It's going to put runners on first and second here for Jeffrey Baez.
Here's a great chance for the Otters. Hot hitter Baez, who hasn't gotten out. His power has come back. You have some runners on to bring yourself a spark and maybe give yourself a chance in this game, or if nothing else, just build some momentum to a big rubber series tomorrow.
That's right. Baez, 2 hits in the first 2 innings here tonight. Felt like Villalobos kind of pitched around him in the 4th. Had a home run last night, had 2 home runs. Runners both going. They're going to throw behind the lead runner and try to get Ethan Skinder, but both him and Myers are going to advance safely, and the Otters work 2 into scoring position. In business here with their power-hitting right fielder up 1-0 count.
Terrific jumps by both, and Pritchard and the Crushers just seemed caught off guard by the double steal.
They did. Opt to throw behind the lead runner, just get it out any way they can. Baez swings and misses at a breaking ball. Count moves to 1-1. We saw the Otters double steal in that Windy City series where Thunderbolts threw behind the lead runner in that instance as well and got out of an inning. Both reach here, though. Baez swings at another breaking ball. This one upstairs. Count moves to 1-2. So the home run yesterday for Jeffrey Baez, 2 home runs in the win over Tri-City on Saturday. Yes, 13 on the season. And just looking to be a productive at-bat here. Chip away at a big lead. That one, another breaking ball fouled off here behind home plate. It's going to get its way over our heads up in the press box. Count remains 1-2. Third-year Otter, one of the veterans on this roster. He's been Andy McCulley's go-to the last few seasons, and would like to see him start something here. 2 in scoring position. Bruss fires home. We'll do the 1-2 once again. Baez fouls off a fastball this time.
He's got great socks, too, Lucas. Every batting practice, I like to go down and see what socks Jeffrey Baez is wearing. Often have big stars on them, multicolored. Fits the fun personality of Baez.
He's quite the personality and an all-star himself. As Bruss works a breaking ball, defensive swing by Baez. One flares to the right side of the infield. Irizarry works his way over, makes the catch. 2 away here for Thomas Bruss. It's going to bring up Yomar Reyes, Otters' third baseman. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th. Had that big 2-run home run in the 2nd. He's been most consistent hitter in this Otters lineup throughout the season. Chance to chip away at this 7-run lead. Bruss comes set on the mound. Kicks and fires. Fastball catches the outside corner. 0-1. Great bullpen Lake Erie has had the whole year. Big reason why they're 3rd in the league in team ERA. Another nice breaking ball from Bruss there. Gets Reyes to chase as that one just falls off the table. Count moves to 0-2. We saw some really good arms last night, namely Darian Reagan's, as Griffin and I said, one of the better relievers in the Frontier League. Breaking ball upstairs. This one fouled off behind home plate. It'll work its way out of play. Count remains 0-2 to Reyes.
I mean, a lot of good arms out of the pen. I mean, there's a bunch of staffs in the Frontier League West that are impressive. Joliet, Windy City. I think both the Slammers and the Thunderbolts is their starting pitching that stands out, but I think the Crushers, it is indeed their bullpen that stands out.
Fastball fouled off by Reyes. He's battling this 0-2 count.
What makes the Otters, arguably the best pitching staff in the league is that they have an excellent starting rotation, one of the best in the league, and statistically the best bullpen in the league. And put both together.
That's right. We saw it all on display last night. Tim Holgrafer with the start, and then Kevin Davis and Jake Polancic with really good performances out of the bullpen. Comebacker up the middle, backhanded by Irizarry, makes the throw to first. And that's going to do it here in the bottom of the 6th. Lake Erie retains a 14-7 lead despite 2 walks by Thomas Bruss. We're going to move to the top of the 7th here at Bosse Field. You're listening to Otters Baseball on the Otters Digital Network and watching on Flow Sports.
Skip the line or bank from the comfort of your very own home. Good news, Brandon. With self-service options and Heritage. Proud partner of Evansville Otters Baseball. Brandon Taylor's banker.
Back at Bosse Field for the top of the 7th inning, Lake Erie leads Evansville 14-7 on the Evansville Otters network. Evansville Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. Griffin, Epstein. You just heard Lucas Daunhauer in play-by-play innings for the last 3 innings. What a bizarre game tonight. Maybe the most just uncomfortable game for the Otters all season. A so reliable pitching staff just completely falling apart over 3 innings, allowing 6 runs in the 3rd, 4 runs in the 4th, and 4 more runs in the 5th. 10 hits, but it's all about the walks. 9 walks allowed, 3 hit batters, bunch of pass balls and wild pitches as well. Otters scored 7 in the bottom of the 2nd. Lake Erie has scored 14 unanswered. And Tyler Vale is just coming out here to just eat up innings at this point for the Otters bullpen and try to save the rest of the staff. And the longer Vale goes, a more impressive effort. Worked 49 pitches in. He worked a strong 7th inning. 1, 2, 3, or got 3 of the 4 out in the 7th. Just 1 hit, but otherwise a clean 6th inning, I should say. And now starts off the top of the 7th with a first pitch high to Sean Cheely. 14-7, Lake Erie leads in the top of the 7th. 1-0. Strike on the outside corner to Cheely, 1-1. Cheely pinch hitting here for Todd Isaacs Jr., the left fielder. Cheely pitch ran yesterday, hitting .221 on the season with 2 homers. Second year rookie from Osteel, Georgia. 1-1. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Now, it's interesting seeing Vale keep going here for the Otters. He's transitioned into a reliever this year as the elder statesman of the Otters bullpen. 2-1. Strike at the knees, 2-2. But this was a guy that's been a starter almost his whole career. He was a starter in Evansville in both his first 2 stints as an Otter, including winning the Frontier League Championship in 2016. 2-2, swing and a miss, and there's 1 away. 1 down in the top of the 7th. Nobody on. 14-7, Lake Erie leads. So there's a starter with the Otters, 2015-2016. Then came back 2018 through 2021 and had 29 starts over 3 years. And then taking the year off last year, joining the Otters back, and now transitioning back to a reliever. This is really only the 2nd time in Vale's pro career, which stretches all the way back to 2010, that Vale has been a reliever. Keenan Irizarry takes a first pitch strike. So Vale going long here. This is not something unusual for him, as much as he hasn't done it this year. The 0-1 popped up on the infield. A few steps in is Reyes, the third baseman, underneath it, and makes the catch 2 away. For landscape design that is truly unique, look to locally owned Wild Horticulture. Whether you need a team to design and construct a large-scale landscape project for your business, or looking to create an epic backyard retreat complete with plants, water, and light installation, the experienced team at Wild can take your ideas to the next level. You've likely seen their creative work all over town. Wild Horticulture has the skills and resources to deliver inspiring spaces and bring your ideas to life. First pitch to Zach Ricusen, swing and a miss from Vale. If you have a project in mind, find them on Instagram and at wildspaces.com. 2 outs, nobody on, top of the 7th, 14-7 lead for Lake Erie over Evansville. Vale twirls home, outside 1-1 to Ricusen. Otters have no one in the bullpen. Who knows? Maybe Vale tries to finish this game for the Otters. He's the 4th pitcher used today. Austin Gossman got the start. 1-1. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. It's kind of strange to remember, but Gossman got the first 7 outs of the game. He was looking really dominant to start. Things unraveled for him in the 3rd. Otters brought in James Crick. He struggled to find the strike zone. 2-1 is low. 3-1. Otters brought in Hunter Clucky. He struggled to find the strike zone. And then brought in Tyler Vale, who also struggled at first to find the strike zone, but he's now settled in over the last 2 innings. 3-1. Taken low for ball 4, and Ricusen works a walk. That's the 10th walk of the game by Otters pitchers, which ties a season high.
Yeah, but Max Peterson certainly looking for some hefty innings out of Vale here. You said no one up in the bullpen. That'll bring someone moving up around. As of now, we've seen all of the Otters listed arms in the bullpen, apart from Leone De La Cruz already in these 2 games.
Houston takes off, but Jackson Pritchard fouls the first pitch back to the screen. John Beamer starting to throw in the Otters bullpen. 14-7, Lake Erie leads here in the top of the 7th. They're trying to even up the series at a game apiece and play for the series tomorrow. Crushers have lost 8 of their last 9 series played, but that one series win was against the Otters 2 weeks ago. 0-1. Lined up the middle and through for a base hit. Pritchard records the 11th hit of the day for the Crushers. There's 2 aboard with 2 outs for Lake Erie.
A breaking ball over the heart of the plate. Pritchard keeps his weight back really well. Barrels that one up. Just nice textbook fundamental hitting there by the Crushers catcher.
Here's up Drew Galassi with 2 on and 2 out. Lake Erie leading by a touchdown, 14-7 here in the top of the 7th inning. Vale's at 63 pitches now. His season high entering today, 27. Ready delivers. Popped up by Galassi, left side out of play. It's been a long journey for Vale, and it's certainly big to have him in the Otters locker room as a leader in a young league, especially like the Frontier League, which prides itself on being a developmental league with a mandatory requirement of number of rookies. Having a veteran is key. 0-1. Popped up left side by Galassi. In foul territory, Reyes, the third baseman, giving it a look, but it will land on the roof.
As so many young players, especially on the pitching staffs of the Frontier League, looking to make their way into affiliated baseball. And Tyler Vale not only has experience in the Frontier League, but in affiliated ball as well. Has been with multiple different organizations in his long career.
5 years with the A's, drafted out of high school in 2010, and then another year with the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2017 as Galassi takes high for a ball 1-2. Guy who's seen a lot of baseball, all-time strikeouts leader. Otters history. He hit 331 career strikeouts in 2019 to break the record, and now he's in his 3rd year since. He might be untouchable. Inside to Galassi, 2-2. It's going to be hard to find another guy that pitches for 6 years in Evansville. You can tell being around Vale that he just loves the sport and loves being around the guys. 2-2. Chopped off the foot of Galassi. His parents love it too. Anytime we head over to the East Coast, or even I think we were in Cleveland as well, see Tyler Vale's parents in the hotel and chatting with them before the game and watching him. They still love watching him, and obviously it's the awareness that, you know, this is towards the end. They only have so many more times they can watch their son pitch at the professional level. Every time it's special, and you can't take it for granted. 2-2. Inside, a full count to Galassi.
That's right, Vale, East Coast native. He hails from Easton, Pennsylvania. His baseball career has taken him to the West Coast a few times, but he's found a primary home in pro ball recently here in the Midwest.
Payoff popped up into center field. Back is Khalil, the shortstop. Under the baseball, makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. Back-to-back scoreless innings worked by Tyler Vale, eating up outs when the Otters needed it. It's time to stretch at Bosse Field. Crushers lead 14-7 on the Evansville Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, and we'll root for the Otters. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Nicely done. Let's get some runs.
Bottom of the 7th inning from Bosse Field, 14-7 lead for Lake Erie over Evansville. Perry Bewley, the righty, new pitcher into the ballgame for the Crushers, making his 22nd appearance of the season. 26 and a third innings pitched, 2.73 ERA for Bewley. Walks, hits, innings pitched at 1.5, a little bit high. Bewley's last pitched against Ottawa last weekend. Inning pitched allowed 1 hit and 1 strikeout. No runs, pitched 2 good innings against the Otters in the series finale. Walked 1, 2 strikeouts, no hits, no runs. He'll work the bottom of the 7th inning with the lefty Dakota Phillips leading off. Pitching change brought to you by The Answer Auto Repairs. Find your battery needs at 2319 North Green River Road or call it 812-475-9000. Lefty Phillips ready, righty Bewley comes home. Pitch outside for a ball. Otters scored 7 runs in the 2nd inning, but otherwise they have not scored today. Otters, too, have not had a hit since the 3rd inning. Just 3 walks over the last 3 as Phillips fouls one off the left side of his foot and some pain, crouching down on the dirt.
Yeah, and Bewley with those 17 walks on this season, Lake Erie's coaching staff likely telling him, hey, you've got a 7-run lead to work with. We need to eat up these remaining innings if we're going to have a big rubber match tomorrow here in Evansville. So just go out there, throw strikes, and you've got some insurance.
Quick word from Pritchard out to Bewley. And some belt-keeping work for Bewley. The purple belt has come undone. Getting it reset. Be distracting if you have the belt pop open and shirt comes undone. Maintenance error. 1-1 is low. 2-1. They might call it a wardrobe malfunction. Brown beige glove for Bewley. High set delivers. Check swing by Phillips. Did he hold up? Yes, he did. 3 balls and 1 strike. Delivery home. Phillips rips one down the right field line under the glove of Rego, the first baseman, and into the Otters bullpen. Phillips racing to second. Ball hurled to second base. A good throw, but Phillips slides in safely with the double. The Otters have their first hit since the 3rd inning.
And a rocket off the bat of Dakota Phillips. That's his 2nd hit of the night, 3rd of the series. 97 miles an hour off his bat. It was a fastball low in the zone. He went down and got it, and extra bases to start off the 7th for the Otters.
Double for Phillips. It's his 18th of the season, and that moves him up to a tie for 3rd most doubles in the Frontier League for the starting all-star catcher in the West. Nobody out. Phillips at second. John Dyer takes a first pitch strike. Otters have been doubles machines this year. They have the 2nd most doubles of any team in the league. 0-1 is low. 1 ball and 1 strike to Dyer. Otters have 112 doubles up in the season, averaging over 2 doubles a game. And Evansville's hit doubles now in all but 3 of their last 30 games. Great gap-to-gap power, and Phillips leads that charge. 1-1 to Dyer. Popped up off the screen. 1-2.
Well, the offense hasn't always been consistent. One thing that has been extra bases. A lot of Otters bats up there in the double and triple categories here in 2023.
And with now 16 triples, the triple earlier today by Skinder, Otters lead the league in triples by 2 as foul tip off the end of the bat of Dyer falls back on the dirt. 1-2. 14-7, Lake Erie leads in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's the 2nd most runs the Otters have given up in any game this season. Only the 2nd time all year the Crushers have scored double-digit runs. Mike Weinstein calling time. Everyone resetting themselves. 2.5 hours into this ball game and just the top of the 7th inning. Lake Erie scored 2 touchdowns. The Otters still looking for their second touchdown to tie the game. 1-2 in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Football's coming up. Got a month and a half left.
It is, and 3 touchdowns combined in this game, getting into the fall spirit are Lake Erie and Evansville here in a July evening.
It does not feel like the fall yet.
No, not at all.
A little too humid and hot, and a little buggy and muggy as well. 2-2. Ripped down the third base line and foul. Look out, off the fence right in front of the seats. Gloved by a member of the Lake Erie bullpen. Oh, William Henry Harrison and and Benjamin Bosse, or no, that's Steph J. Wrights. They've shown up too early. It isn't typically their time to race, but it's the top of the 7th inning. They've still got over an inning to wait, and they're already down the third base line. Dyer pops one up into right. It falls for a base hit. Sounded like a broken bat. Phillips will go to third and hold there. Broken bat flare for Dyer, and the Otters have runners at the corners with nobody out in the top of the 7th.
Yeah, good at bat there by Dyer. Fouled a couple of pitches off. Gets a fastball way down below the zone, but he goes down and gets it. And that bat dies a hero.
So Phillips to third, Dyer to first, and out comes Jason Gardowski, the Crushers pitching coach, to discuss with the righty pitcher Perry Bewley. First-year rookie who last pitched with Ashland University, which is in Ohio. Got 7 runs to work with, but the Otters scored 7 runs in the second. Another 7-run inning would do here to tie the game. Otters continuing to have John Beamer warm up in the pen, so he might be coming in the 8th for the Otters. Tyler Vail doing a great job just getting some much-needed outs and zeros on the board for the Otters the last 2 innings. Gardowski back to the bullpen. Jake Green coming to the plate. Phillips at third. Dyer at first with nobody out. Green is 1 for 3 today. Base it back in the second. He has had an incredibly long taxing day behind home plate. The long innings for the Otters pitching staff and Green, who takes the first pitch outside. Bewley delivers. Strike to Green, 1-1. This is a big help for the Otters that they pretty much go every other day with their 2 catchers, Phillips and Green. Long 96-game season in the Frontier League. And supposed to help with limiting the wear and tear for both guys. 1-1. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. And Otters have dealt with some injuries as well to their catching staff. Justin Felix, who was expected to be a big part of this catching staff, was hit in the hand much earlier this season. Has only played in 7 games and been on the 14-day IL since early June. 2-1 count to Green. Bewley fires, swing and a miss, 2-2.
Well, to speak to the shift that Jake Green has put in tonight, Griffin, I don't think a single square inch of his white baseball pants are not covered with dirt at the moment.
What would be the job description for a catcher on LinkedIn? I'm still thinking about it. 2-2, low and a full count.
Could be a job that doesn't get a lot of praise at times. Often goes.
The pay would be a little lower.
Underlooked. That's right. It's maybe the second least desired, other than a middle reliever. You get to bat, so there's that.
They think if you're a great catcher, is there any bigger hero than a great catcher? The payoff. Bounces in the dirt, low for ball 4, away from Pritchard, the catcher. Phillips slides in safely to home plate. The Otters have their first run on the board since the second inning and trim the deficit to 6.
That's right, and they've still got 2 on here. Nobody out yet.
It was ball 4.
That's right. Dakota Phillips had to slide around a catcher's mask that sat directly in front of his line to home plate. Looked confused mid-slide as he just kind of warped his leg around it.
I was wondering, why was that there? Not a very good job by Pritchard getting the mask away, but as you're just talking about, the catching job is awfully challenging.
A lot of moving parts.
Yeah. Dyer at second, Green at first, brings up George Khalil, the shortstop. Otters trail by 6 now, but still nobody out. First pitch to Khalil, a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. I think we had a whole discussion about best catchers of the past century. I guess we like to talk about catchers here on Otters broadcasts. But the top catchers are so beloved. I think Yadier Molina, Buster Posey, Joe Mauer, Johnny Bench back in the day, 0-2 to Khalil. If you're a great catcher, I mean, baseball fans especially, they don't love the flashy always. They love the gritty leaders, and catchers often define that. But if it's not the most flashy position. Of course, baseball fans also enjoy the flashy players, like an Aaron Judge that hits a ton of home runs. So who wouldn't?
That's right. Catcher often the position, though, as a kid that
You
someone
wouldn't
steps up
Yeah.
because no one else wants to do it. So I
Right.
think there's a lot of respect within the baseball community for catchers.
0-2 is high, 1-2. You can't be without it. Maybe like an offensive lineman, a little bit in football. No one wants to do it, but without an offensive lineman, the game doesn't happen. 1-2, fouled away, and Khalil stays alive. Would that be similar maybe even to your position in soccer, a goalkeeper? I mean, kids probably aren't raising their hands to be goalkeepers on the soccer field.
Well, I didn't start playing goalie until I was a sophomore in high school.
Which
So
is
I think-
remarkable that you went from that to a national D1 national champion and goalkeeper.
I think oftentimes it is something that's picked up by just anyone willing to step up, because a lot of kids join the sport of soccer with the intent of using their feet. But I will say you do get a little bit more praise as a goalie, just the flashy plays you get to make.
1-2 to Khalil. He is swung on and hit right to the third baseman, Mercuson, to glove it, steps on the bag, throws to first in time. Double play. Great play by Mercuson at third to really put a stopgap in the Otters rally.
And one of the harder hit balls we've seen off the bat of an Otter tonight, but almost to the detriment of this little rally the Otters were starting to put together there, as Mercuson had a really easy chance to step on the bag and turn a double play.
Dyer out, the force down at third, Khalil out at first, Green aboard at second base as Noah Myers the batter. 2 outs, Otters trail 14-8. Bealey throws, Myers takes outside 1-0. What position were you before you were a goalkeeper in soccer?
I played anywhere on the left side of the field. I was left-footed, so I would play left mid or left back. I wasn't all that good. I was more so just athletic than a soccer player. I think that's what led me to playing goalkeeper.
1-0. Misses low, 2 balls and no strikes.
It was a time of my life where I most definitely preferred the sport of baseball to soccer.
Two 2-0. Outside to Myers, 3 balls and no strikes.
I think a lot of goalkeepers in America, not in other countries, but a lot of high school and college goalies also did play baseball, as
Really?
especially the fielding aspect of baseball. It's similar. And,
Okay.
if you're trying to find a kid who likes to dive around and get dirty, well, someone who also plays baseball is likely willing to do so.
3-0. Strike out the letters 3-1. That's interesting. I've never heard that before. Makes sense, though. I guess you start thinking catcher and goalkeeper almost could seem a little bit similar,
Right.
keeping the ball in front of you.
I can't think of a quicker way to destroy your knees than playing the two positions. But
3-1 on the outside corner for a strike and a full count. Now it's being called a strike, say the Otters. Would have liked that call back in the third and the fourth and the fifth innings. Lake Erie scored 14 runs today, over just those 3 innings. Payoff to Myers. That's how well outside. Ball 4. 2 walks, double base hit in the inning for the Otters. And there's 2 on again for Evansville. Back to the top of the order in Kona Quiggle. The rally is still alive here in the 7th.
Going back to innings 3 through 5 for the Crushers, Griffin. Everyone in the lineup for Lake Erie batted 3 times in those 3 innings. So certainly getting their at-bats on the road.
It's hard to imagine Otters will play any game the rest of the season that will feature anything like those 3 innings. First pitch to the lefty Quiggle, outside 1-0. Just occasionally, and it's bound to happen, you have 96 games of baseball. You're just going to see stupid some nights. You're going to see things that just break from old trends all season long, and that's what's happened this evening at Bosse. 1-0. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes to Quiggle. I mean, the Crushers scoring this amount of runs is also completely unprecedented all year. Lake Erie had only scored double-digit runs once all season. It was the very first game of the year against Quebec, all the way back in mid-May. 2-0, chopped off the end of the bat, 2-1. Otters had only allowed double-digit runs once all season. That was at Florence when they allowed 16. Two and one. Outside 3-1 to Quiggle. If Bewley walks Quiggle, things could get really interesting. Ethan Skinder's on deck. He already has an RBI triple today.
That's right, Bewley. 19 walks on the season now in his 26 innings of work.
3-1. Swing and a miss and a full count. The sumo wrestlers are waiting down the right field line. And the legends of Evansville, William Henry Harrison and F.J. Wrights, and also Benjamin Bosse, are waiting down the left field line. I think Wrights, Bosse, and Harrison are practicing right now. They've had so much time. They're running back and forth. I think the sumo and the legend should go at it. The payoff, swung on and driven into left center, down for a base hit. Green hustling around will score without a throw. It's 14-9. Evansville cuts the lead to 5.
Well, Quiggle had chased a number of pitches way up in the zone this evening. A guy who's been hot at the plate as of late, though, and catches one at his knees there to the contrary and does some damage, goes down and gets it. Really good piece of hitting to drive that the other way. And this marathon of a game just keeps going as the deficit is cut to 5 now. Otters not hypothetically out of this one.
Myers goes first to third. Quiggle at first with 2 outs. Ethan Skinder, the batter, 1 for 3 today. Swings at the first pitch and lines it to center. Back is Galassi, the center fielder, to make the catch. The Otters' threat ends. They strand 2. They do get 2 runs back, but still trail 14-9 as we move to the 8th inning. You're listening to Evansville Otters Baseball on the Otters Digital Network and watching on Flow Sports.
Evansville called the bullpen. 18, John Beamer. Into pitch, the battery Beamer on the mound. Green behind the plate. That's powered by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Greenville Road. Or call me 12475-9000. Tell them Zane from the Otters sent you. Say hello to TRU Advantage. In left field, Poets. Section 2, Tip-Bar Seed and Turfgrass Supplies. They're in right field tonight. Trader Brothers and the Corona Extra Patio Deck. Decks 1, 2, and 3. Also saying hello, the Frontier League champion Chris Sweeney, who's here at the ballpark and threw out a great first pitch earlier in the game. Great to have all of you here at Bosse Field on the Senior Connection.
Welcome back to Bosse Field for the 8th inning. 14-9. The Lake Erie Crushers lead the Evansville Otters. John Beamer into the ballgame for the 8th inning for the Otters. Call to the bullpen brought to you by the Answer Auto Repair East, where you can find all your battery needs at 2319 North Green River Road, or call at 812-475-9000. Kenwell Thomas Rivera leads off the top of the 8th inning. Righty batter, first pitch home, inside for a ball. Beamer a 2.35 ERA in 30 2/3 innings pitched. He's allowed just 8 earned runs, 39 strikeouts to 11 walks. On the right side of the rubber, delivers at the letters for a strike, 1-1. 23rd appearance of the season for Beamer in his second straight night. He went an inning and 2/3 last night. Allowed just 1 base runner, a hit, 1 strikeout, no runs in 23 pitches. 1-1. Strike on the outside corner, 1-2. Beamer has been really busy for the Otters. This is his 4th consecutive game that he's pitched in. 1-2, swing and a miss.
Ooh.
Beautiful breaking ball, one away.
It's one of the nastier pitches we've seen from John Beamer this year. A lot of movement on that 75-mile-per-hour slider. Ran its way all the way across and off the plate.
So bring up Josh Rego with 1 away here in the top of the 8th. 14-9 the score. Beamer fires and Rego fouls it away. It's time to check the Frontier League out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by WJPS 107.1. A lot of early morning afternoon games in the Frontier League. Of course, this is now the last game going on across the league. The 0-1 to Rego. Strike right down the middle, 0-2. New Jersey bouncing back from their loss yesterday to take down Florence this morning at Inchliff Stadium 6-1. Jackals and Yalls will play for the series tomorrow. Mentioned this score earlier. Gateway shut out for the first time all year. Falls to New York 5-0. The 0-2 poked off the screen. Rego stays alive. So Grizzlies have dropped back-to-back games to the help of everyone else in the Frontier League West. Schaumburg got walked off 1-0 in sudden death last night to Joliet. They bounced back today, win 4-2 in an afternoon game. The 0-2 popped up into right center. Baez over under it and makes the grab. 2 away. 2 quick outs for Beamer here in the 8th inning. Back to the top of the order is Jared Watkins. Other scores, Windy City won last night against Empire State, but falls this evening 5-2. Grays and Thunderbolts play for this series tomorrow. Otters will host the Grays next at Bosse Field this weekend. Jared Watkins, the batter. Lefty fouls the first pitch down the left field line. 2 outs, nobody on. Top of the 8th, 14-9. Lake Erie leads. Tri-City and Ottawa played a doubleheader, and the Valley Cats stay hot. 8-2 and 3-2. Tri-City wins both games of the doubleheader in Canada. 0-1. Lined into center field. Long run to the left for Quiggle. Ball hangs up for him, and he makes the jogging catch for the 3rd out of the inning. John Beamer, what an inning. Sends the Crushers down in order with ease. Move to the bottom of the 8th. 14-9. Lake Erie in front on the Evansville Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Once again with the win. tomorrow night are Thirsty Jacobs Village, among other guests at the ballpark. To Budweiser Thirsty Thursday and German Heritage Night. Tickets are still on sale at EvansvilleOtters.com.
Welcome back to Bosse Field. Trevor Kunsel into the ball game for the Crushers in the bottom of the 8th inning. Lake Erie needs 6 more outs to make it to win the second game of this series. They lead 14-9 as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning. Kunsel, another excellent arm out of the bullpen for the Crushers. 28th appearance of the season, 3.62 ERA. Righty fires, and Baez fouls the first pitch out of play.
Brought to you by Heads Construction. Choose the best.
Kunsel pitched once against the Otters 2 weeks ago in Avon. Allowed 2 hits, 2 walks, 1 run across in an inning in the third. 0-1 outside to Baez, 1-1. Otters 9 runs on 12 hits, scored 7 in the second, added 2 more in the 7th. 1-1. Popped up, high in the air, shallow right. Taking the second baseman Irizarry back, and he makes the catch in a crowd of purple jerseys. 1 away. If you have a group of friends or coworkers who wish to come to historic Bosse Field and enjoy an Otters home game, contact the Otters front office to reserve a party deck on the Corona Extra patio deck. The Corona Extra patio deck is one of the best places to watch the game with an all-you-can-eat menu and unlimited bottled water and soft drinks. Call 812-435-8686 for more information on how you can book your next celebration. First pitch to Yomar Reyes, swung on and missed, 0-1. 1 out in the bottom of the 8th and nobody on. Otters trailing 14-9. 14 unanswered runs scored by Lake Erie tonight. 0-1 is low, 1-1. Otters pitchers walked 9 batters, hit 3, have allowed 11 hits and 14 runs. Their second most runs allowed on the season. Swing and a miss by Reyes, 1-2. Kunsel's going to tie his shoe. Had a couple shoes untied today. Some belts undone.
Shoes, belts, a helmet land right in front of the plate.
We had a baby come up to the press box and start crying. It's all falling apart tonight. The 1-2, swing and a miss. Reyes strikes out.
I was more so going along the lines of baseball equipment items. Then you throw a baby in there, and I didn't know where to go next with the conversation. Just trying to think of more equipment issues we've had tonight.
It's been, well,
last night, Aaron Beck let go of a bat.
that's true, yeah.
We haven't had any flying bats this evening, though.
We have a lot of flying balls that have gone not to the right places. It's the first pitch goes to a wrong place. Outside to Dakota Phillips, 1-0. 2 outs, nobody on. In the bottom of the 8th inning, 14-9, Lake Erie leads.
There's a sleeping baby who's being taken out of the stadium. It's been a long
Phillips
night.
lines one into right, a base hit. I don't blame him.
Back-to-back really hard-hit balls, though, from Dakota Phillips. That's his 3rd hit of the evening, 4th of the series.
He's had a good day. The leadoff double in the 7th, he came around to score. Keeps the inning going with a runner aboard, and it brings up John Dyer with 2 outs. Dyer is 1 for 3 today. Base hit back in the 7th, walked and scored in the 2nd. Otters trail 14-9 here in the bottom of the 8th. Kunsel at a high set and throws. Strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Well, we're expecting a big crowd at the ballpark tomorrow night. It's the first Budweiser Thirsty Thursday in a month here at Bosse Field. It's been a whole month. The 0-1 outside 1-1. We were scheduled to have a big one. It was supposed to be a huge crowd against the Gateway Grizzlies, huge series rubber match, and probably the most insane days I've ever seen of thunderstorms in my life came through and blew off the tarp and caused damage across Evansville. There was no way we could play a baseball game. Though, boy, did we try for a while as Dyer takes inside 2-1. Otters pitching coach Max Peterson and catching and assistant coach Billy Easley were out here for hours scooping water off the infield because the tarp flew off, trying to get us to play. But storm after storm kept rolling in as Dyer swings and misses 2-2.
That's right. It was a big matchup against a regional foe that will now be played at Gateway later on in the season. So you lose a really key home game, and have to think that's why so much effort went into trying to have that game played here.
2-2 is hit hard down the left field line. Look out, right into the picnic tables down the line, and almost caught by the Otters head groundskeeper, Dan. Speaking of guys that do a lot of great work on the field.
Gave us a nice hat wave, though, just to tell us he's all right.
Dan the man. We need him to be okay. His ballpark would not operate without him. One of the few natural surfaces in all the Frontier League, and it truly takes a team to keep it going. Another 2-2 is popped up and fouled away again by Dyer. You've probably seen some more crazy storms than that in your time in the Midwest, but for me, that was a tree fell in front of my house. My whole house was shaking during the last storm, and there were so many trees falling over across town because there was 4 massive storms, with the last one being a derecho coming through. I'd never seen a day like it. 2-2. Check swing by Dyer. Did he go around? Yes. Couldn't hold up on a pitch outside of the zone, and that ends the inning. Kunkel makes it through the 8th. We're finally on to the 9th inning. 14-9. Lake Erie leads on the Evansville Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Evansville calling the bullpen. 29. Naomi De La Cruz in to pitch. The battery De La Cruz is on the mound. Green behind the plate. Pitch battery is powered by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East. 2319 North River Road. 812-475-9000. Tell them. Zing from the Otters. Zing you.
To the 9th inning from Bosse Field. Leone De La Cruz into the ballgame for Evansville. The flame-throwing southpaw with a 1.96 ERA on the season has allowed just 5 earned runs, 42 strikeouts in 23 innings pitched to just 9 walks. Pitching change brought to you by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at 2319 North Green River Road or call at 812-475-9000. Face the ready Jack Harris to start off the now. Southpaw fires. First pitch inside for a ball. Fastball and slider to go along with the occasional changeup for the all-star reliever De La Cruz. 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Leone's last outing against Tri-City pitched just 1 inning. Didn't have his best stuff. Allowed 2 hits on 1 run. Leads the Frontier League in strikeout percentage. 1-1. Popped up by Harris. Into shallow right. Back is Skinder. In is Baez to make the snag. 1 away.
Just the second time we've seen the electric left-hander since the All-Star break. He was an All-Star himself. He's kind of taken the league by storm this season, and with his appearance tonight, we've now seen the entirety of the Evansville bullpen in these first 2 games.
They've been busy. Ready, Sean Sheely, the batter, pinch hitter earlier, takes a first pitch strike. Sheely got out his first time up back in the 7th. 0-1, one out, top of the 9th. 14-9 Lake Erie lead. The 0-1, swing and a miss, 0-2. Two more scores to report on the Frontier League we didn't get to. Washington walks off Trois-Rivières 7-6 in 10 innings. Wild Things have taken the first two games of that series against the Eagles. And Quebec, they keep on winning. They stretch the win streak to 9 games with a 2-0 victory over Sussex. 0-2 is fouled away by Chile to stay alive.
Well, the French-Canadian defending champs are looking like themselves again. Electric string of games for them, and certainly coming at a good time as we start the second half of this long season.
0-2. Chopped, hard hit to the right side. Gloved by the second baseman Skinner. Throw to first, 2 away. Chile grounds out. Quick 2 up, 2 down for the Otters here in the 9th. Brings up Keenan Irizarry, the second baseman, with the bases empty. I would not want to be a playoff team and have to go to the Stade Canuck and try to win a playoff series there. That sounds like a nightmare scenario, and obviously last year no one could do it. That is, I think, pretty simply the hardest atmosphere to play in the Frontier League. Absolutely electric in that historic old ballpark in the heart of Quebec. And I love their baseball up in Canada as Irizarry takes the first pitch high for a ball. There's a lot of great atmospheres. I mean, I think Schaumburg certainly has to be up on that list with the incredible crowds they attract. But Quebec fans are another breed as Irizarry takes a strike 1-1.
That's right. We talked at length last night on our broadcast and our interview as well about the
Great
really
Canadian
unique
fans. Yeah.
atmospheres you get in Canadian independent ball.
1-1. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Doug Greenwald, the voice of the Winnipeg Gold Eyes here last night, the American Association, and former voice of the Fresno Grizzlies, the AAA affiliate of the San Francisco Giants for many years. 2-1. Popped up by Irizarry into left field. A few steps over to the left is Noah Myers, and he makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. The Otters have retired 7 batters in a row. One last chance for an Evansville comeback. We move to the bottom of the 9th. 14-9, the Crushers lead on the Evansville Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
We have a call to the bullpen for the Lake Erie Crushers. 14, Alexis Rivera. Into pitch, the battery Rivera on the line. Pritchard behind the plate. That's powered by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East. 2319 Lake River Road. 812-475-9000. Calvin Singh from the Otters. Thank you. The catcher, number 10, Jake Green.
Bottom of the 9th inning here in Evansville. 14-9 lead for the Crushers over the Otters. Alexis Rivera, the righty pitching change for the Crushers. 1.23 ERA and 8 appearances now for Rivera. 4 saves on the season. Just his second appearance, though, since early June for Rivera. He pitched a good inning in his return to baseball against Ottawa last weekend. First pitch to the righty Jake Green, in for a strike to start out the bottom of the 9th. Lake Erie 14, Evansville 9. Bottom of the order here for the Otters, Green, Khalil, and Myers. 0-1. Popped up, fly ball on the infield. Shortstop Watkins is there to make the catch, one away.
Well, Griffin, the Otters have out-hit Lake Erie 13-11 tonight, but 9 walks as well as a few hit by pitches have really haunted the Otters pitching staff.
And 9 walks, 3 hit batters. And all 14 runs coming across in just 3 innings. 6 in the third, 4 in the fourth, 4 in the fifth. George Khalil ready, takes the first pitch inside from Rivero, 1-0. It's not been the best day for the Otters at the ballpark, but as sports so often do, big part to make the communities around them a better place. They 1-0, inside 2-0. And it was great to take part this morning in the Otters helping out Habitat for Humanity, building a house on the south side of Evansville. I was able to join some of the other interns, employees, and players of the Otters in helping put together a house this morning. Pumped up by Khalil into shallow center field. 3 purple jerseys converging, and it's caught by Irizarry. Basket behind the back catch. I don't know how he made that play. Looked like a no-look almost, and kind of half ran into Harris in right field. Second out of the inning. Crushers are an out away.
Well, if that ball was going to get caught, I certainly didn't think it was going to be by Keenan Irizarry. You saw Galassi and Harris both making their way in from center and right field. A lot easier of a momentum play to make coming in, but what a tough grab that was.
Noah Myers, last chance for the Otters, takes a first pitch low check swing held up. 1-0. 14-9, Lake Erie leads. Otters down to their last out. Looks like we're into a rubber match tomorrow. 6:35 first pitch on a Thursday evening. 1-0. Myers takes a strike on the outside corner, 1-1. Noah was one of those players helping out Habitat for Humanity this morning. Aaron Beck, James Crick, Brian Rosario also out. It's the 1-1 lined into center field, a base hit. Myers keeps the game going with the 14th hit of the day for Evansville.
That's right, and Noah's 4th consecutive at-bat reaching base here this evening. He had a pair of walks in the 6th and the 7th. He's 2 for 3 on the evening.
It will bring up Kona Quiggle for his 6th plate appearance today. Kona is 2 for 4 with 2 base hits. Runner at first, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning. 14-9, Lake Erie leads. Rivero delivers. Quiggle fouls the first pitch off the end of the bat. The 0-1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike to Quiggle. The Otters have not announced a starter for tomorrow. As we mentioned, Evansville's pitching staff a little bit in flux this week. We'll see who the Otters send tomorrow. Evansville will see J.D. Hammer, though, the righty for Lake Erie. As Quiggle swings and misses 1 and 2. Otters down to their last strike. Hammer was terrific when facing the Otters a couple weeks ago back at Lake Erie up outside of Cleveland. Crushers are a strike away from finishing this wild Wednesday battle. 1-2. Quiggle pops one up into center field. It takes Galassi back a few steps from the track to make the catch. And the Crushers win it 14-9 on a Wednesday night from Bosse Field. Well, that was one you could say to remember, but really more for the Otters, Lucas. One to forget tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. We saw 18 hits in last night's game, and for 2 teams that don't normally display a ton of offense, we thought, well, it's quite the offensive showing. How about 25 hits between the 2 sides tonight? But an evening that digs pretty deep into the Otters pitching staff. We saw 6 Otters on the mound tonight, and those 9 walks were just so deadly. Mentioned out-hit Lake Erie and left 10 runners on base. Game that wasn't maybe as out of reach as it seemed if you just look at the runs category, but yeah, chance to quickly forget this game tomorrow, and we should have a really electric atmosphere on a thirsty Thursday that's been long awaited here in a nice rubber match.
Yeah, we've had great crowds on Thursdays all season long, and tomorrow is expected to be one of the biggest of the season. So if you're not planning to make it out of the ballpark, tickets are still available. You're going to want to join the party because it's going to be a big game as well. But the Crushers get the win tonight, 14-9 the final score. 14 runs on 11 hits, no errors for Lake Erie. 9 runs on 14 hits, no errors for Evansville. But it's 9 walks by the Otters pitching staff. They hit 3 batters, and a disastrous 3 innings for the Otters pitching staff. 6 runs in the third, 4 in the fourth, and 4 in the fifth. The Otters undoing. Evansville had 14 hits, 7 runs in the second, which was tied for their most runs in any inning all season, and 2 in the seventh. But it is not enough, and the Crushers get the 14-9 victory tonight. And Lucas, great job. First play-by-play in full 3 innings. I know that was about as challenging as it gets, and I tell you, but I'm looking forward to hearing some more play-by-play from you the next few days, and I think we're going to have some better ones in store to bring you out on a good note.
Yeah, thank you, Griffin, and thank you for all of your help, and looking forward to doing it with a really electric atmosphere. If you haven't been to a ball game this year, or if it's been a while since you've been out to Bosse Field, it should be a great atmosphere tomorrow, so come out and catch a ball game. If not, Griffin and I will be here once again on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Yeah, tickets still available at EvansvilleOtters.com, or you can call 812-435-8686 to the Otters front office. So that does it for baseball this evening. The final score, Lake Erie 14, Evansville 9. The Crushers improved to 24-32. Evansville falls to 31-23. For our entire Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports crew, our director, John Smith, my partner, Lucas Daunhauer, I'm Griffin Epstein. Lake Erie wins 14-9 tonight. We'll talk to you again tomorrow evening. But that's all tonight from the River City. Good night from Evansville.